Patriots, Bruins, the Celtics. WBCFM and HD Boston 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Beasley Media Group station celebrating 65 years of broadcasting.
Sports Hub headlines. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Playing without Jaylen Brown last night, the Celtics were down 11 points in Phoenix in the first half. Then they ripped off a 50-11 run. They blew out the Suns 97-81 for their fourth win in a row. Derek White, 22 points to lead the Green. They'll try to sweep their road trip when they play in Denver tonight. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 9:30 and the tip-off at 10 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. In NFL news, Patriots Executive Vice President Elliott Wolf met the media yesterday in Indianapolis, the site of the annual Scouting Combine. Free agency is around the corner, and Wolf said he may be active again.
We're going to explore every avenue to try to improve the team. We filled a lot of needs last year, and we're still building. We have areas that maybe we feel good about the starters, but maybe the depth's not where we want it to be.
He added he'd like to bring back Morgan Moses and Harold Landry, among others. He's open to trading his first-round draft pick as well. Raiders GM John Spytek said yesterday he expects to have pass rusher Max Crosby on his roster next season. The Bruins' Charlie McAvoy and Jeremy Swayman were at the White House yesterday and last night to celebrate the U.S. Olympic hockey team's gold medal. Bruins still not sure when they'll return to work, with the next game coming up tomorrow night at home against Columbus. Just in case, the Bruins have called up Providence goaltender Michael DiPietro on an emergency basis. President Trump last night announced that U.S. goaltender Connor Hellebuck would receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And the Red Sox lost the preseason game to Pittsburgh, 16-7 in Fort Myers. Ranger Suarez allowed 2 runs in an inning and 2/3 of work in a Sox debut. They visit Minnesota today. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Super Service Today. When your heat or hot water goes out, waiting isn't an option. Super Service Today's warehouse in Danvers is stocked with water heaters, furnaces, boilers, and heat pumps with same-day replacement day and night, and always done right. Visit superservicetoday.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
Deep three, violent two-hand slam. Wow.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Toucher
You might hate me, but you're listening.
and Hardy
Don't bother me. I'm at the Pickle Palace.
on 98.5.
I know what I'm capable of.
He said something about peanut butter, right?
Yeah. Boning, baby. Make America nut again.
That's gross. That's disgusting.
Let's talk about cheese.
What are you going to have for lunch?
I was at dinner with my wife and a friend.
Kitty, kitty, pussy, kitty, kitty, kitty. Flap, flap, flap.
Shut up, I'm trying to talk to Paul.
Toucher and Hardy
Good luck trying to put your finger in it when there's a million holes.
on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Let's go.
He's Italian. Delicate
Don't you think
part
he'd
of
be the best one?
deal with that.
Fuck him.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are Toucher and Hardy. Town Fair Tire Studios, 617-779-0985. You can watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube and get involved with that. Big show today. Christopher Price from the Combine. Chris Forsberg will be on. Ryan Johnston. His hockey starts again tonight. Not for the Bruins, but it starts again tonight. It's very exciting. They're showing people on TV, a lot of people in shorts.
Oh yeah. Get out there yesterday. You could make a case for that, sure. It's a nice juxtaposition, Fred. There's snow everywhere, but you got short pants on.
Exactly. I coached a basketball practice last night at a school that was closed all day. But nonetheless, we're
also a nice juxtaposition.
Exactly. Never have I been more excited than when the email came out yesterday afternoon that practices are on.
Oh, nice.
Which is the second time in a row that there was snow days on Tuesdays, and they opened the schools for practices, which is fine because obviously everything was fine last night, but it was a little bit of, and I understand why they didn't have school yesterday too. So I understand all of that, but it's just, we get on the air at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday, and after Monday, I don't know what it is because I do work out occasionally. I don't know what it is about snow shoveling, the 2.5 hours of snow shoveling that wreaks havoc upon my body. My sleep metrics were all off 2 nights ago.
Oh, no.
The Whoop said that the sleep metrics were off. Now, last night, the sleep metrics were almost unprecedentedly high in terms of sleep performance because I think I was so exhausted that I was able to sleep. And I would have gone to bed even earlier, but I was laying in bed falling asleep, like on the verge of sweet sleep taking me away when my son started thrashing around and came in and said that he was making a protein shake, which, thank God. I mean, really let me know about that. I do appreciate it. And then I didn't hear any of that. And then he came up and said, "Did you hear me make it?" And I'm like, "No." And then he shut the door. And then he shut the door to my room, and then he went and took a shower, and then he came back and burst into my room again because he wanted my razor.
Yeah.
Which he also took my toothpaste, which was the only toothpaste I had. It's really unbelievable. It reminded me of being like 15 and like imagine if I was doing something in there. Like if I was a younger man and I was, trying to relax myself for the evening.
Yeah, there's no consideration to that. But why did he feel it necessary to let you know he was making the protein shake in the first place?
Maybe he was proud of himself for making the protein shake. Maybe that was it.
Okay.
Or I'm thinking that's the main thing is he was like proud of himself because he was taking weight gain or like in that was what the thing was.
Okay.
But he under the guise of like he was going to make noise. But then I woke up this morning and I said, "What's that smell?" And I said, "Did I make duty in the bed?" And I had not.
Okay.
But then I went into the bathroom and the cat had crapped all over the bathroom because Milo had shut the door and the cat, was afraid of the dog and the dog's in the crate at night. So that's when I take it. The cat takes dumps in the litter box is when, so
the coast is clear.
Yeah, exactly. So like the dog's asleep and she can go down there and take a dump in peace. But no, dump. All I do is clean up dump. Because the dog, obviously wouldn't go out on Monday because of the blizzard. So he took a dump on the floor. Then yesterday, the cat takes a dump on the floor. Or last night, the cat takes a dump on the floor. And then something's wrong with the cat because I cleaned it all up. And it's still, and the smell wasn't going anywhere. Isn't that odd? You would think that the minute that you clean up the dump and flush it down the toilet and then disinfect the area, that would kind of be that for the smell. But it lingers.
You burn toast. You can throw the toast away. You can shake out the toaster. You're still going to smell that burned toast.
But I always equate that to the smoke. Like the smoke is something tangible that raises into the air. This is just straight smell.
Well, have you ever watched a cartoon? There are poop fumes. And they waft up much like a smoke fume. You can't see them, but they're there.
Anime, yeah.
Yes.
Anime poo.
Both the kids desperately want a cat, and I know why they want it. They have this idyllic image in their head of the dog and the cat somehow, playfully getting along, but not really.
Watched one too many of those videos online.
Yeah, that John. Absolutely, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's from TikTok, and they want that cat dog dynamic. But the one thing that their mother will always say is no, because cats lick the butter, and if the butter is ever left uncovered out on the counter, that might be the biggest crime you can commit in our household is doing something to upset the butter.
Yeah.
She's a big butter fan, my wife.
Oh,
she loves the butter.
Yeah, my cat always looking. I often have butter out as almost a presentation of companies coming over.
Yeah. Look, I'm not saying that it's grounded in any, real fear or any danger of it happening, but that's number one. But then I played the tape to the end in these situations. I said, who's doing the litter box? Who's going to clean up after the cat? Who's going to do all the stuff, having to do with the cat, with the vet visits and all that stuff? That's me. That's going to be me, and I don't want to do it. I'm happy to do it for the dog and all the stuff that comes along with the dog. I don't want another, responsibility right now.
Would your dog constantly bother the cat, chase it around?
I don't think so at her age. I mean, she's 7 now.
Yeah.
So it's not like she would have that, puppy energy to constantly be effing with the cat.
See,
with
my
the cat
dog
F
would.
with the dog.
My dog would make that if we had brought a cat
Well,
in that house.
here's the thing: is that I had the Fluff for 21 years. First of all, when I first was given the cat by an old girlfriend, the cat. I never cleaned that litter box, and the cat didn't care. The Fluff crapped in that litter box. It would be 10 miles high and sit there crapping in it. Then when I eventually moved in with Stephanie and we got a dog, the Fluff immediately when the puppy came in just started swatting at it and was just away. Like this Fluff stood her ground.
Right.
I've never had a cat at my old house. There's Lemmy, and then we had Lemmy, and then we brought this fat cat in, and the fat cat paid no mind to the dog. If the dog came up to it, it would just, in the beginning, it would just swat at the dog, and the dogs are all pussies. They back down. I've never had a cat, and we had the cat before the dog, and so I have no idea why this cat is such a chicken crap. It's the most mercurial cat of all time with litter boxes. I had a great automatic litter box that cleaned itself. Every month I would just have to clean because all the crap and pee was out of it. Once a month I'd have to clean this, just throw the whole thing away. And now I have to get a special kind of, I had to investigate on the internet. I have to get this special kind of litter. I have to clean that litter box every day. And then the cat is just so afraid of the dog. And for what? What's the dog going to do to it? Dog's not going to eat it. It's not going to bite it. The dog's only sort of interested in it. The dog will just go and kind of run at it. It doesn't even bark at it. It just kind of goes "Ugh," and then the cat just goes ah and takes off. I don't. The cat's getting but this has been going on for 2.5 years. So I don't know why the cat will come down to the bottom stair. If I'm feeding the dog, because I feed the dog and the cat at the same time, but then I have to go down in the basement with the dog so the cat can come and eat. And if the cat would just one time just sit there and just allow the dog to run around it, then it would be all over with. And I've always had cats. There's been very few times in my life, in college, but then in college I had a cat my senior year. There was someone had a big litter of kittens. I agreed to take one. So I've most often had cats, and they've never been a problem. They're the easiest animals, except this one is the most timid creature in the history of the world. With this dog, it's afraid of the dog. It's a real problem.
Yeah, I just I don't want to add to. Things are pretty peaceful in the house right now. I don't want to add any drama, even if it's cute every once in a while. And the scenario that you laid out, because I've had cats before too. The cat generally runs things, and it doesn't matter how big the dog is or whatever. They assert themselves, and they either don't care or they end up controlling most of those situations. I don't want any situation going on. I want nothing. There's 3 of us in the house right now and the dog. That's fine. We're good. We don't need anything else. We don't need any other stimuli happening in there. Mm-hmm. It's hard enough to nap as it is. I don't need anything else. Oh, my God, the 2 days home from school and the clomping around. And constantly in the kitchen.
That's with only one kid.
Effing around. Just go stand outside in the driveway. Just go do that. I know you can't go anywhere. There's nothing to do, but that doesn't mean you got to clomp around.
You didn't put a shovel in his hand?
He did. He helped me a lot yesterday. I got the deck cleared, and then, Fred, I had to take 3 preemptive Advil last night before going to bed because I was starting to feel the shoveling and the snow blowing from the day before, but I had to do the path around the house for the dog yesterday, and it's damn near impossible because with the drifting, the snow is up over the deck of the snowblower, and you can't get it through, and it sinks down. But I finally, I half did snow blowing, half shoveled. Path all the way around the house, and one little waste area for the dog, which she used last night. I was very proud of her. But I was so tired and so exhausted from doing that. Like, this is stupid. If you just lived in a place where it didn't snow, you wouldn't have to do this. Like, all that energy, all that work, for what? For what?
For it to snow again on Monday.
Yeah. I thought it was snowing today.
It's only an inch.
All right.
It's fine.
Wait, what do you mean on Monday?
A big storm.
I can't tell with your tonality, and it's not funny if you're lying.
There is apparently a storm. It may or may not miss us on Monday. That's what I was reading this morning.
I don't see that.
I just telling you what I was reading this morning.
Where were you reading it?
I was reading it. I think it was a Globe website. Your guy Mahan, if I remember right. Let me double check.
Sunday, chance of precipitation 0. Monday, chance of precipitation 0.
Okay. Well, maybe it's a miss then. But I was Fred, I'm not doing that specifically to get you up in arms, but I was reading Monday there is a chance for some weather.
Well, Tuesday it says snow in the afternoon, but I don't. But it. I don't. Is this a some kind of bomb cyclone again?
That I don't know. I don't know if it's a bomb cyclone or not.
Because the whole newspaper here is about the U.S. men's Olympic team just getting awards on top of awards.
Right.
You would think the gold medal would be enough. But
I'm looking at the weather.com app. Tuesday, 45% chance of snow. Sunday, 38% chance of snow.
Yeah, but that doesn't. I mean, there's snow today. I mean, if it.
Yeah, the snow today is supposed to be quick, like a few hours. You get an inch here, and then it's done.
Right, but then again, the article I'm reading right now in the Globe about the weather says it was only supposed to snow 3 to 7 inches on Monday.
Right, that was a big miss.
Yeah, I did read something yesterday from the other guy at the Globe that does weather that says that. Circle March 20th for when the snow is gone.
Oh, good. I think that's optimistic.
They gave quite a reasonings for it. They said that it was the combination of history and then upcoming forecasts.
Unless we get like 4 70-degree days in a row, this snow is going to be here till at least April 1st, if not longer.
They said the only time that they can remember it going into April was 2015.
Yeah.
That generally it's March, it's early March where it's gone, gone like stacked on lawns, and that this, since we got so much snow and it's been so cold, this will be a more extended period.
Yeah, well, the snow we're getting this year is equivalent to 2015, so I would imagine that.
No, it's not nearly as much as 2015. No, 2015 was more. We just never got a storm like on Monday. I believe me, I'm up to date on this, Johnny.
Okay.
No, I've taken over for you. I'm not afraid of the snow, obviously, but I am very opposed to it. Yeah. I am. Now, I haven't done any research, but I am starting the initial thought of getting some sort of 2-bedroom condo or something somewhere warm.
It's interesting you bring that up. I was talking about that with my wife a couple of days ago. Getting a place where we don't have to worry about this for at least a little while.
I do have it in my contract, and when my contract comes up again, if radio's still around and I do choose to re-sign, I can put whatever. I mean, Felger's never here. So, I mean, I could, in theory, put something, and I wouldn't even, I could, in theory, put something in there that I could broadcast remotely.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to do this anymore. I was talking to my ex-wife last night. I'm like, fine, I'm a baby. I bitch about it. That's all true. But the reality is I don't like it. I hate it. So if I hate it, everyone else can be super studly Northeast, love the winter guy. But I now really hate it. And like, I don't want to live in this anymore. I just don't. I can live in it 80% of the time. I don't know if I can live in it for, 3 months every year. I can live in it 2 months.
January and February have always been crappy around here. Forever.
It just hasn't been bad in a while.
Yeah, this January and February have been, even when it's not snowing, it's 5 degrees outside.
See, the cold, it doesn't bother me that much. It's just being trapped. It's just that being trapped. Because we talked about it yesterday, and I know everyone might be listening going, like, you're a pussy. Fine. I am. But I am. So, like, it's not, it doesn't change the fact that I am.
There are more people.
If you have a broken leg, your leg's broken. Like, I can't help it.
You see, I think you're missing a point here. There are a lot of people like the way I feel, the way you feel. There are always people say, oh, you don't like living here, then you can leave. I think there are just as many people that are tired of this crap.
Well,
and wish they could live somewhere else.
Everyone's leaving for numerous reasons. A bunch of people are leaving Massachusetts every year, so it's not least of which is the weather. But I
think I'd say there are just as many that feel the same way. Just the people that are, standing out on their front porch in shorts are louder. I think that's the difference.
Right. I think at a certain point in your life, you just got to accept who you are in some ways, in non-self or in ways that don't hurt others or hurt yourself. But you can just accept, I don't like the snow anymore. I don't want to deal with it. But that is the reality. All right. Anyway, we will catch you up with everything that happened last night. John's precious Celtics played. And it was odd because we were talking about him getting text messages from management yesterday. And after the show, our PD asked John if he could talk. And then John immediately went, I don't think it's about the Celtics, which was devastating. You could see the disappointment with him. He knew that it probably wasn't about the Celtics, and it was devastating for him. So we will talk about that in just a moment.
You're listening to Touch.
are Toucher and Hardy. Hardy, what's going on?
Did you know the State of the Union was on last night, Fred?
I didn't watch it, but I did. I am a little, and this is just me. I'm a little aggravated. I'm a little aggravated at the U.S. men's team because it's enough celebrating already.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't watch the State of the Union last night.
No, I'm aware that. I mean, I read the newspaper and everything. I'm aware that they, were. Hellebuck was given like the Medal of Freedom or whatever.
Yep, Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest honor a civilian can have in this country.
And I'm going to go wildly political. I thought it was super cool that the head of FBI was shaking beers and acting like he was on the team afterwards.
I thought that was cool.
That's really cool. He doesn't seem like a guy that was picked on all his life and then decided to come in and be friends with the cool kids. And if you saw that and you just didn't go, ew.
You have all these athletes and then a 5'3" guy jumping up and down in the middle of
a 5'3" dork sitting there going, "Ah!" I'll tell you what. Say, in 2011, I was fairly. I've mentioned I was fairly close with that Bruins team. Yes. I'm no head of the FBI. But I can, and by the way, I love paying for that too. I love that we paid for that, so he could take a G5 out to Milan and get wasted with the team. But I'll tell you this: is that if I was hanging around in 2011, say they won it at home, and by some miracle I was close enough where I was hanging out with them. I mean, I wasn't in that parade on a duck boat. Just say, I can assure you this. You would have never seen a video of me celebrating in the locker room with them when it was just me and them. Like, if they opened it up to the media, I would go in there. But even if they asked me to go in that room, and I think that you guys can attest to this, I think you know me well enough, no way in hell I'm going in there and getting on TV acting like I'm part of that team. No way. Say what you will. I don't care what you think about anything politically. That's some dorky ass crap. And I'm not happy I paid for it, quite frankly. I'm sorry. There you go. But it's like enough. A lot of people won gold medals. It's enough. You win a gold medal. That's the prize. That's the prize. The gold medal.
And the stuffy.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Don't forget about this.
Well, I don't like that too much. Isn't too much stuff. But, and the thing is this, is that, like, if you were at the Olympics and, like, you saved someone's life after you won the gold medal, like someone was slashed in the throat like that dude did back in the day, and you cauterized the wound and, like, saved the guy's life, then you get the medal. You've already got your medal. You got the gold medal.
But I just want to tell you that the members of this great hockey squad will be very happy to hear, based on their vote and my vote, and in this case my vote was more important, of course, that I will soon be presenting Connor with our highest civilian honor, which we will be given and which has been given to many athletes over the years. But when I say many, not too many.
Okay, very good. I understand. I don't need to hear 4
Then we
hours.
stop things for 5 minutes.
Well, listen, if he wants to if Trump wants to give him the medal, whatever, it's not even, I don't even care about that. It's just, like, it's enough celebrating already. It's you won the gold medal. And in fact, if I was an NHL team with one of these guys on my team,
like the Bruins,
yeah, I know, like McAvoy. I mean, when do these guys get it back together?
Well, I mean, we can get into it later, but Marco Stern was like, I don't know when they're coming back. I know the flight got diverted to Miami. They're visiting the president tonight. We got a game Thursday. I have no idea.
But he said, the U.S. guys are the ones that are missing.
Yeah, no, really good, really good. I mean, it's nice to have them back healthy. Today, actually, it felt like a practice. The last few days, it's been tough. We only had 3 lines. It was kind of, I don't know, it was just a little different, I guess, but we made it work. And today was definitely a better day.
I mean, they had to call up a goaltender for Providence who's probably going to back up Korpisalo tomorrow night. I mean, they're probably not going to have Swayman tomorrow night.
Well, in fairness, Swayman played a lot, so I mean, I could see
right.
Swayman could have been back last week.
Yeah, that's right. He played his one game and he's done. That's right.
Really carrying 3 goaltenders, and he was the third.
Mm-hmm.
They should give him half a medal.
As we discussed earlier in the week, I think it was on Monday, when Fluto was on with us, working on things during this break, even though they didn't have their full squad. Working on what, Marco?
Yeah, more system-wise than anything else. We don't have extra bodies who could kill. We already turned a lot of guys into killers before the season, and we're going to continue to work with them. We still feel like these guys we got to teach them, and they got to get better at it too. And we also need to stay healthy. We got to stay out of the box. We always talk about, but the rest was all system.
Yes, staying out of the penalty box will help you kill penalties.
So if you are like, if you're like the Bruins and you're a team that has more than one guy on the U.S. Olympic team, put yourself in the shoes just of the coach. You got to be so aggravated because it's obviously two of your very best players. I mean, the U.S. team was fantastic, so it's obviously two of your very best players. Just put yourself. It's all warranted. I mean, in all seriousness, like they deserve a night of celebration and all these things, and they deserve to go to the State of the Union if they want to go to the State of the Union. That's all fine. But if you are the coach, just put yourself selfishly. If you're selfishly in the coach's shoes, you got to be going, "What the hell's like? Come home, like just come home." For no other reason than my job is dependent upon you guys playing well. Like Swayman, above all else, like you're our goaltender. Like you're our number one goaltender. Like you got to be playing, man. You got to be on the top of your game. You know, you come home. Again, in all seriousness, I understand like celebrating after the game, and I understand, you know, partying in Miami, and I understand obviously going to the State of Union address. If the President of the United States wants to like glaze you at the State of the Union address, I absolutely understand going to that. Like I don't have a problem with that. It's just like it's like enough already. Remember when the Bruins won the Cup in 2011 and they didn't stop celebrating even into the next season?
Yes.
It's just like it's too much. Like it starts to become like you go because you're like all excited, yay, the U.S. won, and then they get their gold medals, and then they get their party in Miami, and then they get to go to the State of the Union address, and now that's enough. Like now it's enough. You know, it might be in the minority, but I'd much prefer the Bruins to even compete in a first round playoff series than I would for the U.S. Olympic team to win the gold medal. I would even like the Bruins to take a team to 7 games in the first round.
Yeah.
Than I would for the United States to win the gold medal. I
because
care more
that's
about
what
the
you're
Bruins.
invested in, like day in and day
Right.
out, and as good as that win was, and as fun as it was to watch for a couple of weeks, it didn't have anything emotionally invested in it beyond your own patriotism, of course.
Sure.
Which is obviously measured in the success of professional athletes.
Which is now being called into question based on your last take.
Which one?
With the Bruins over the
your
gold medal.
patriotism.
Oh, yeah. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
Yes. You know what? Let's
just move.
Move on. Let's just move on.
Yeah, please move on. I'm stuck in a corner. I can't get out of this.
I don't know how you're going to get yourself out of this one. I didn't think the Red Sox were going to have to get themselves out of anything yesterday. I was locked in on this spring training game.
Long fly ball here. Cedar Rafaela sends it up and out of Fenway South, and the Red Sox get on the board.
Hell yeah.
Aaron's good at play-by-play.
Yeah, he's very good.
Yeah, after Ranger Suarez went 1 2/3, only gave up 2 runs in 1 2/3. All right,
it was a homer, but that's all right.
But you're at that point you're up 6-1 with that Rafaela homer. So what could possibly go wrong? Let's just skip to the end.
High fly ball, shallow right field, coming in to make the catch for the final out of the game. They will hoist the Jolly Roger here at JetBlue Park as the Pirates beat the Red Sox this afternoon.
16-7.
So I have some things about so there was like 5 pitches in a row or something that were challenged.
Right.
Okay, so I was at spring training last year and they were using that challenge.
ABS, yes.
ABS in the games. But it was so great because you didn't even really know they were doing it. They would subtly touch their hat and then it would just flash to a screen immediately.
Yeah, it takes maybe 6 seconds.
Okay, but it shouldn't. I don't even know if it took 6 seconds back then.
Yeah.
Like, for whatever reason, yesterday
It seemed long.
and they were making an announcement that they challenged it.
Yes.
When I was there, they didn't make an announcement, and it's really unnecessary for them to do that. So it was. I'm telling you guys, like sometimes you wouldn't even know that they had made the challenge, and it would just flash to the board in the park and show the call, and it was like instantaneous. And I thought it was great. I was if they can do this, like because really you just don't want it to be a pain in the ass. So like if they can do this, it seemed to me like this perfect science. And then for whatever reason, now that they're implementing it.
They have to announce and get the crowd
involved. They're announcing everything, and it's like taking longer. Like they would step out, touch their heads, and then it would flash up, and they'd get back in the box, and that was that. If I'm an ump, I really don't like.
Especially when you get five.
I know he was bad.
Yeah, when you
really
get five
bad.
in a row where you're going to get overturned, and when you finally get one right that isn't overturned, you get a mock ovation from the crowd.
Yeah, I mean, this guy missed a couple of pitches that were right down the middle of the plate.
No, I saw it. I mean, I
balls.
saw it. It's just, it just. I hope that they kind of streamline it to the way I saw it last year, because I went into those games not realizing that they had adopted that rule for spring training, and then it took me like halfway through the first game to realize they were even doing it, which is really ideal, right? Because it was that quick. And I don't know. I'll be down there. In a few weeks. I'll tell you how it goes.
Okay.
Yeah. Boots on the ground.
Unfortunately, Roger Dean Stadium, where the Cardinals play, is the worst out of all of them. The clubhouses are strategically located off-site.
I know. They got to walk like a mile and a half to get there.
So part of if you're a spring training guy, part of the joy of spring training, especially with a boy who plays baseball at a fairly competitive level, is being able to see like guys warm up and see guys working while the game goes on. Mm-hmm. And what's great about Roger Dean Stadium is that all of that is very far. In fact, the bullpen, I believe, is not in the park.
Oh, I thought, again, you were there more recently.
Or it's somewhere where they have to walk from another building into the park. Like it's just so not ideal. So now, I mean, my son doesn't want to go to. He wants to go to spring training, but he's got to be down there anyway. But he doesn't want to go to Roger Dean Stadium, which I don't either. So that eliminates the Cardinal games. But the Cardinals, in fairness, have a minor league team for the regular season. But so now I got to go to see the Mets.
Port St. Lucie, what's that, an hour north?
From Jupiter? Nah, it's like an hour from Palm Beach, but it's like we're staying in Jupiter, so it's probably like 25 minutes.
Well, Palm Beach has two teams, right? I think the Washington Nationals.
Yes. We'll go there, but I'm staying in Jupiter because I can't stand West Palm Beach.
I understand.
Yeah, well. I would hope.
I understand.
We're just in the same room every day. I would hope that you would understand.
I understand.
That.
Yep.
Now, Palm Beach is great and very welcoming to the likes of me.
Yeah.
Once you go over that bridge, Okeechobee, life changes.
Right.
It's very different.
I'm very.
Those are your people.
Yeah, and that's where I exactly want to live too. The most like audacious area of the planet.
It is something.
Yeah, but yet you're only a bridge away from West Palm, which is a real...
Go figure.
Which is not the world's most enticing place. All right.
Elliot Wolf spoke yesterday. We'll get into what he had to say about Will Campbell. And,
you're going to spurn John and not do the Celtics?
Oh, sorry, John.
What the hell?
I skipped right over him. I'm sorry.
Can we at least mention them when we come back?
I screwed up. I had him ready to go. We started talking about the hockey, and I just skipped over him.
No, that was me. I got sleep last night, so I'm chomping at the bit.
60 seconds.
All right.
We'll take care of the Celtics next.
We'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Essential Sports Hub.
on the
third quarter.
Shireman, deep three, front iron, no good. Rebound, punched up and in by Vucevic.
It's getting uglier and uglier.
16-0 run, a 28-point lead.
That's right, 80-52 there at that point in the third. The Suns would come back a little bit in the fourth, but Derek White and the rest of the Green, too much.
Can they double up their loss total? A win for the Celtics tonight puts them at 38-19. And they'll be 2 games ahead of Cleveland and New York. Derek White dribbles into traffic, runs it up and in, off the window, and he gets hit from behind and fouled.
Oh, great move. Then he stopped on a dime. The defender kept coming, going right into the body. Count that one and one.
There we go. 22 points for Derek White, and they beat the Suns last night 97-81.
Another star-studded affair.
Yeah. The Suns didn't have Devin Booker. They didn't have Dylan Brooks, who's been very good for them this year. They were missing guys. Celtics were without Jaylen Brown. The Celtics were down 11 points in the second quarter and ripped off a 50-11 run to take that 28-point lead. They've held 5 of their last 10 opponents below 100 points, which in today's NBA is remarkable. And they did all of that last night without Jaylen Brown. They are number 1 in the NBA this morning in scoring defense.
All right, so if you were wondering the starting fives for both teams last night, Sam Hauser, Cada, Derek White, Ron Harper Jr., Baylor Shireman for the Celtics. For the Suns, Royce O'Neal, Ryan Dunn, who I thought had passed, but from a Jackass.
But he got himself a job playing for the Phoenix Suns.
Exactly.
Good for him.
Mark Williams, Colin Gillespie.
Yep.
With those big cheeks of his. Mm-hmm. And Jalen Green. So
Green was the big Green they got from Houston, I think, in the Durant trade.
Oh, well.
I think he's their scorer. Yeah.
So there you go. Those are the starting 5 for both teams.
Yep.
Now, Grayson Allen did play.
Yep.
Second night of back-to-backs tonight as they visit the Denver Nuggets. That might be more of a test than what they faced last night.
Yeah, Denver's going to have Jokic. Denver has Murray. I was just telling Hardy off the air, Jokic in his last game, 35 points, 20 rebounds, 12 assists. led his team in steals and
36, 20, and 12.
Yeah, led his team in steals and blocks in that game also. So
well, he's still the best passing big man in the NBA, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So. I think he leads the NBA in assists, actually,
really?
per game. I got to double-check real quick. Talk amongst yourselves, but I think he's number 1 in the NBA in assists.
Well, there has been...
Should we talk about other assist leaders, Fred, or do you want to talk about something entirely different and then try and bring him back in?
Leads the NBA in rebounds and assists per game.
There he is.
Really?
Yes.
That's fairly impressive.
He's averaging a triple-double.
Has that happened before that a big has, or that's anyone has led the league in rebounding and assists at the same time?
I can't think of one off the top of my head. I'd have to look.
Well, it certainly didn't happen in the 80s or 90s.
No.
Or the 2000s.
If you're leading in rebounds and assists, you would almost think there's no way you could be scoring that many points.
Yes.
You're grabbing boards, you're dishing it out, but no, he scores plenty.
Well, I mean, for the longest time, it was the Stocktons and the Steve Nashes and the, Magic Johnsons of the world that were distributing like that. Now it's
Rondo. The Rondos of the world.
Yeah, well, yeah. Rondo, big assist guy.
Jokic
Jeremy Fears
is 6th in the NBA in scoring and leads the NBA in rebounds and assists.
Why is he not being? Has he not played enough to get MVP?
That's the thing. Right now, he's only played 42 games,
Okay.
so he's on a pace to come in just under 65.
So it's Brown, Wembanyama, and Cunningham that are the three.
Wembanyama's on a pace to be under 65 too.
So it's Brown and Cunningham
right now, unless everyone plays every game on all the way through.
And in fairness, Brown should probably win it over Cunningham because Cunningham hasn't had to do it a lot. Well, but Cunningham doesn't shoot at a very efficient clip,
and defensively Brown is, I think, better. So
that's debatable, but certainly Brown is a much more efficient scorer. Cunningham can be quite erratic. Like if he gets 40 points, a lot of shots going up.
Yeah,
a lot of shots going up. All right, go ahead, Hardy.
Elliot Wolf speaking yesterday, he did mention Will Campbell. Well, he almost had to.
When Will specifically, when he came back from that injury, I personally didn't see the same level of lower body strength that you saw before the injury. And I think, the film would attest to that. Like he probably had 3 of his 4 worst games in the playoffs. But before that, I thought Will played really well all year.
Okay, we'll get into it later in the show when we have more time. But first of all, he was hurt. Torn ligament. No one wanted to believe it, but it was true. I don't know why he was playing, and I'm not positive why he doesn't need surgery this offseason. If you saw that he was weaker and that injury was that bad for a cavalcade of reasons, he shouldn't have played. A, the obvious, that he wasn't ready to play, like that he was not up to playing. And two, if that was the case, wouldn't you go, oh no, we should probably fix this? So, next year we have our fourth pick at a premium position ready to go.
If you're building a program, don't you protect your young assets at all costs?
Especially when they're a detriment. Like, I can get, look, you made the Super Bowl. That's all that matters. I understand that. But I find it very difficult to believe that there wasn't at least the same amount of talent at that or effectiveness at that position.
Darian Lowe was as good as an injured Will Campbell, easily.
I would have to think you're right. A professional replacement at that spot is got to be better than the worst. And if we can have 7 writers say 7 different things, everyone listening to the sound of our voices watched the playoffs. Will Campbell was terrible. I don't want to hear any more all 22 nonsense. He was terrible. We all saw it. It's a fact.
But once you decide, and yeah, in hindsight, it makes more sense to shut him down and get someone in there who can, at the very least, be healthy. And I think, as you aptly put it, Fred, had the same effectiveness that Will Campbell had. But once you get away with it for 2-3 playoff games, you don't make the switch then. And it was a major part of their undoing in the Super Bowl that you just didn't get any protection on that left side.
I mean, he was. I forget it. I knew he was extreme. I knew he was extremely hurt. His knee had to be completely jacked, and I'm sure he really wanted to play, but I'm not positive why they let that happen. And I'm not positive, and I'm not a doctor, but I'm not positive why he doesn't need surgery. It just seems like if you had that kind of tearing, I'm a little concerned. If I'm a Patriots fan, about Will Campbell. I'm not concerned about May, but I am concerned about Campbell. This is not a good precedent. Tearing up your knee like that, playing, they're admitting you didn't have strength in that knee. Now you have an off season with no structural fixing of it. I'd be afraid of that ligament. I'd be afraid of that tear. I'd be afraid of him tearing it again. Because they're not strengthening the ligament, right? There's a lot in there that would concern me, because you need your knees when you're playing tackle.
Oh yeah, it's a sneaky big joint, sneaky important.
I could tell he wasn't strong. Well, then you could have done him a big favor and not played him. If I'm Will Campbell, do me a favor. Don't play me in the Super Bowl. I don't need to be embarrassed in front of that many people. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. It's all about shoveling. It's all about talking to the people about shoveling. Relatable stuff on the way.
U.S. goaltender Connor Hellebuck would receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and the Red Sox lost a preseason game to Pittsburgh 16-7. They visit the Minnesota Twins today. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning. 24-hour on-call service for your clogged drain emergencies. Go to johnsewer.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
You actually coaching the game, or it's just that is. I feel so strongly about that. I can't even tell you.
Boston Talk Sports here.
What do we got?
Sports.
And we're back. Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
When?
Monday. Bobby Bronson's walking down the hall. They were having this big thing about how they'd eat Nick.
Oh, yeah.
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 And then his...
I don't want to deal with that.
Pluck him.
Yeah, she says pluck. P-L-U-C-K.
Deal with that.
Pluck him.
Okay.
Yeah, pluck him because they were talking about his thighs. But it does sound delightful because Bob won't let her talk because he's very misogynistic. So he wouldn't let her speak.
Right.
He's Italian.
Which he's not, which is the thing, is that in one of the great scams of all time, the Gemellis have DNA.
The Gemelli family has been getting over on people in the North End and people of this community for generations now.
Cosplaying, really.
Right, and we thought we had put an end to it, and we had started to see justice being served, and yet this notion still exists in the zeitgeist.
He's Italian.
That Nick Gemelli and his family are Italian. They are not.
Shush. They were called the O Gemellis. Mick Gemellis, like McGuire. They were like that. All right. Anyway, Hardy, when you go out, you have a lot of options. I have a friend that just sent me guys shoveling and then putting the snow into wheelbarrows and then wheelbarrowing that to different locations. But there is one.
Well, I saw the reel last night of a guy, in a situation like yours, Fred, with no place to throw the snow. If you were to have a snow thrower, so they had the snow thrower set up and a wheelbarrow right next to it. And the shooter set up so it just shot straight down into the wheelbarrow next to the guys. So they would pick the snow up, get it into the wheelbarrow that way, and then he was presumably wheeling the snow to a different location. And pretty smart.
It just sounds like hell. It just sounds like a lot.
Yeah, but if it's got to be done, I can think of worse ways of doing it.
Listen, you get a wheelbarrow in there. You get to buy a wheelbarrow. There's a whole thing. All right.
Why don't you already have a wheelbarrow?
Very little property. I don't know if I need a wheelbarrow.
I got two. You can have one of mine.
Oh, that's a really nice gesture.
Well, you can certainly fit it in the back of that truck of yours. All right.
I was happy to have that truck. After all the talk I've been doing about getting rid of that thing, I'm glad I had it.
Yeah? All right. So here is the deal. There is one important question to be asked when you are shoveling, and that is... All right, so Hardy, you had to get down to business on Monday.
I did, and out in the driveway, and you're seeing people, going up and down the street, and you're seeing your neighbors out, but it did not lend itself to much socializing. The blizzard was still going on. We were all out there while the snow was still falling. It didn't stop until later that evening, so I took it upon myself to get some neighbors on the phone, ones that I had seen out earlier, to ask them, how it went, what was going on. And, I spoke with a couple of them.
Yeah, I mean, Hardy knows when you turn your TVs off at night. He's certainly going to know if you were out there shoveling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris.
Yes.
I saw you out there earlier. What exactly were you shoveling with?
Oh, that's my electric shovel.
Oh. Yeah, that's just like, hello, peacock. Oh, that's my electric shovel.
There's no big whoop.
It's my electric shovel. Don't worry about it.
Oh, that's my electric shovel.
Electric shovel?
Yeah.
How does that work?
You just press the button, press the thing, and then on the bottom where the shovel is, you can push where the snow goes, left or right or straight.
Yeah, you can't like that he said you press the button on that thing. That doesn't sound like a guy who knows what he's operating with.
Well, this is Chris, who I used to refer to as my largely useless neighbor, Chris. And he has morphed into more useful by the day neighbor, Chris.
Really?
Oh, he has found many, many uses, and he has earned himself a spot in the neighborhood by becoming useful. But when it comes to tools or even describing what's going on with his electric shovel, still largely useless.
Wait a minute. He's earned a spot in the neighborhood? Were you guys thinking of kicking him out because he wasn't mechanically inclined? Or what's the deal?
What are you bringing to the table, Chris? And he got a green egg a few years ago. And if you need something grilled up, you need a place to hang and watch the game, and there's food going on, it's at their house. It's absolutely at their house, and he is a magician on that thing.
Well, listen, it's all about the wood. It's all about the wood.
It's got like controls on it. You can actually direct which way the snow propels out of the electric shovel.
Exactly. At the bottom of the shovel where you shovel, it propels where you want it to go. So you just have to put it in the direction you want to go. You want to go right? Do you want to go left, or do you want to go straight?
Those are directions. What about backwards? He's filibustering. It doesn't seem like he knows very much about this shovel, so he's just giving you different directions.
Bit of a word soup.
Yeah, exactly.
20 volt, 40 volt, 24, what is it?
I don't know. I haven't looked at the thing.
Oh, all right.
Come on, man.
I don't know what it is. I know should be fully charged. Why, you need to use it?
Really? I'll take it for a spin.
All right. I'll meet you out there in like 3 minutes.
Oh! Oh, wow. Did he meet you out there in 3 minutes?
Yeah, but I didn't have anything left to shovel.
Yeah, but did you play with it?
No, yeah. I mean, I think it's very useful, much like Chris, under the right circumstances.
Now, does it throw the snow or it just shifts?
Kind of shoots it.
Oh.
Spits it out in a different direction.
Is it like a leaf blower thing?
No. It's almost like it feels like a vacuum cleaner, but instead of like sucking it up into
right, so like a leaf blower. So it blows air.
No, there's some kind of a spinning mechanism underneath, and it's still propelling it out.
So it's a snow blower, but in a shovel form.
Yes, that's well put.
Okay.
Well put.
Well, I don't like that. That seems. Why don't you just get a snow blower?
Why, indeed. He was using it on his front porch and on his steps.
Oh, where the snow blower you can't lift it up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, for me at that point, you just take a shovel and you're not even really shoveling. You're just kind of pushing it off
pushing it off
Right.
the steps or pushing it off the porch. Yeah, that's the easiest part of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, this seems like a tool for the sake of a tool.
Which I'm not opposed to, like my mini leaf blower that I carry around in my golf bag in the fall. I mean, that's just, is it necessary? No.
You carry a mini leaf blower in your bag?
We've talked about this. Yes.
I don't recall.
I haven't shown it to you. Well, we only played golf a couple of times.
Yeah, never in the fall.
Yeah. Oh, that mini leaf blower? Oh, that thing is the balls.
So do you just go in and if you can't find your ball, you spray everything?
Yeah, I mean, you just take it with you if you've hit it into an area with leaves. You walk over there with the club that you assume you're going to use because it's mostly about pace of play.
Right.
Especially in the fall. What are we doing? Let's get out here. Let's keep things moving. But yeah, let me grab my 8-iron and the mini blower here and see if we can't locate largely useless. But it did help me find a couple of golf balls this past fall.
Well, and that pays for itself. So did I
find $70 worth of golf balls, which is what this thing cost? No.
Are you the only guy at the club that has this thing?
As far as I know, yeah.
Has anyone ever ridiculed you for bringing it out?
No, because if you and I are in a match against Wallach and Beaton, I'm going to help you find the ball, so you love the fact that I have it with me. Now, those guys will ridicule, but I'm not breaking any rules.
Is it PG? Is it allowed by the PGA?
I doubt it.
Yeah, so
but they don't have to worry about, like a bunch of leaves and stuff on the course.
But if we're in a match, I think I'm going to go to the PGA.
You know what? That is interesting. I wonder where that falls under the guidelines of USGA. Just, standard rules being kept.
Can't see Morikawa pulling one of those out in the rough.
No.
Can't see that. No.
It seems incredibly unfair, and it could actually move the ball, too.
That's a good point. What if the leaf blower moves the ball?
This one, it would have to be on the fairway, and you have to be real close to the ball in order for it to have enough power to actually move the ball.
Does it move leaves?
Yeah.
Like a lot of them? If there was like
Not a lot.
No. It's like it would be.
You know what? I'll bring it in tomorrow. You can look at it.
Please do.
I will.
But please do. And it fits right there in your bag.
Sure.
Where in the bag?
I put it in the driver's section, so up top.
Oh, so it's like do you holster it, or is it in the hole wole where the drivers are?
It goes in the hole where the clubs go.
Oh, so it's skinny,
thin. Yeah.
All right.
I mean the business end of it sticks out of the top of the bag,
right?
But the actual
Do you have a cover for it?
That'd be great.
Like a Black & Decker cover for it?
Like, that's an outrageous question. You're laughing at that like Fred has asked you to fly to the moon.
You should get like Black & Decker.
No, but now that you mention it, what it deserves is some kind of an attachment. You know how you got like those straps on the side of your bag for your umbrella and the stuff that you don't use? I bet I could mod one of those out to just hold the blower.
Do your kids give you, like, for Christmas golf gifts?
Sometimes, yeah.
Like things like I'd rather be golfing and things like that.
Look at my daughter gave me this just this past year, a little Snoopy golf
nice.
keychain.
Yeah, I can only imagine the amount of crap you get because people can just go golf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Of course. I mean, yeah. That's how you identify. That's how you identify. That's got FootJoy stuff. I take it your hat's some kind of golf thing.
It's the Cape Club.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, dummy. How'd you not recognize that?
Well, I mean, pelicans are,
universal.
Completely, you think of Sharon.
It's a crane.
Oh, my bad.
Or a heron.
He felt the need to correct you.
It's probably a
Otherwise,
heron. Yeah. Well, no. There's a heron that lives there.
Of course. I mean, I would
that you
obviously
had
know
to
that.
correct him. No one would have known.
Well, no, it's not that he didn't correct. It's not that he didn't correct me. It was like I was an idiot to think it was a pelican.
Well, I mean, this is the Cape Club of Sharon, Massachusetts.
I'm just going by the stupid hat. I'm not going by anything other. I thought it was odd that it was a pelican. I don't know.
So you should have deduced, Wallach, that it was not a pelican and it was a crane.
Is New Orleans
or a heron.
Is New Orleans known for its vast amount of pelicans?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Rotten with them.
All right, so very good. Here we go. It's what you shoveling with.
Another neighbor that I saw. Now he's further down the street. There was even if this lent itself to a socializing night, probably weren't going to be doing any socializing. It's too far of a walk. But
this is like the Gaza area. The Gaza Strip.
This
is the line of demarcation.
High rent and down at the end there.
Yeah. It's the haves and the have-nots.
Exactly. So he's in the haves, but it doesn't mean I didn't want to talk to him. Pavo. What's up? I saw you out there. I saw the kids out there. What are you shoveling with?
Thankfully, I have not had to use said shovel because the kids and Caitlin did some of the shoveling.
Huh?
The kids and his wife did some of the shoveling, so he did not have to use. There's a bit of an accent.
Is this Rich Voss's friend?
No, he lives next door. He lives next door to Rich Voss's friend.
Okay. If you don't know the story, when Rich Voss, the comedian, came in, Hardy was nice enough to take Voss golfing, and there was a friend of Hardy's that was really nice and took him out kind of off season.
Right.
And Rich Voss responded to that kindness by ridiculing his heritage for what seems like you said 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like right when he rolled up.
Oh, yeah.
Shows up and
started
starts it on him immediately.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I've yet to touch a shovel.
So what have you been using? Just snowblower?
Yes, sir.
20-inch deck?
Inconclusive. I don't recall the measurements.
Eyeball it for me. What do you think it is?
I'm going to say 24.
Are you out there right now?
Yeah.
Fire it back up.
Hold on.
Wow.
It's like Hardy's calling.
Pablo's good like that. He'll always pick up.
Yeah. He's there in an emergency, like if you have to know what kind of snowblower he's using.
You got any IT troubles on the street? That's who you call.
Oh.
Very useful. Very useful neighbor.
If you had to, do you have a ranking of neighbors based on, like, my daughter's watching Dance Moms. There was a pyramid at the end of during every episode where they would rank the girls in a pyramid form by who performed the best in the last competition. Do you have any kind of thing like that in your own house with the neighbors?
A power ranking with the neighbors?
Yeah.
Absolutely. But it's like a three-way tie at the top, probably.
Well, that's kind of selling out. You gotta choose one. Could you tell me right now who's at the top of the pyramid?
I gotta say, just maybe it's a recency bias, but since I had the blower out yesterday and I saw Chris and he was lamenting the fact that maybe Stevie couldn't get to the mailboxes, I said, well, I have mine out to shave off a little close from the mailbox. I'll do yours, while I got it out there right across the street. And then I saw that his plow guy left some snow and a lot to be desired about the cleanup. I'm like, man, they're not even really going to be able to back out safely on either side. So I cleaned up the edges of their driveway after Chris had already gone in. And I just took it upon myself to do a little cleanup. So Carrie was kind enough to send over some cookies later. So right now at the top of the pyramid, I would say it's not even Chris. It's
you,
Carrie.
Because first of all, it can't be a woman. But so you, but you're saying you are the most useful neighbor.
No.
Because you went out there and you're the one who got your hands dirty.
It did turn into a story about him, didn't it?
Yeah, it just sounds like someone was kind of inept and that you were able to save the day.
Well, the question was, who's the most useful neighbor?
If that's what you took from it, I can't control what you take out of my story.
I just wish I liked these things. I really gotta work on myself. The idea that
you don't like cookies.
No. Believe me, we got Girl Scout cookies. I gave them $100 bill. They looked at that thing. They did not like the looks of me. They looked at that $100 bill when I gave it to them, and they were investigating the hell out of it to make sure it was real. But the mom in charge of the whole thing, she was holding it up to the light like I was trying to pass counterfeit bills to them.
I need one of those markers.
They actually.
Yes, for real. Like
you handed it over the table.
So I'm at Chestnut.
Like
I'm with my daughter at Chestnut Hill. I'll tell you, I was with my daughter at Chestnut Hill Mall on Sunday, and there were girls selling Girl Scout cookies.
Sure.
And Zoe goes like, "Oh, Girl Scout cookies. I like Girl Scout cookies."
Yeah.
So I go, "All right." And I had $240 and $200 bills because of my son's big baseball card crap.
Sure.
So I have these $200 bills, which are good for nothing for me. So I go, oh, I can pass the $100 off. And I gave the lady the $100 as if I had gone to the mall to pass counterfeit bills, and I saw a perfect opportunity to launder my money.
How low of an individual do you have to be to pass a phony 100 to buy Girl Scout cookies?
It's just was funny to me because A, like she thought she could tell. And B, that like she's like the U.S. Mint. She's a real FBI agent.
I know.
And then B, that I just like maybe I'd seen them and then gone home and gotten my counterfeit money and then come back to try to pass it off to them.
Like the cashier in My Blue Heaven. When Steve Martin hands over the 100. Wow.
It wasn't a wow so much as it was like I'm keeping my eye on this thing. I don't know. But they did. They broke the 100. But I bought 4. I mean, those. It's like $70 a box now. So I was. But I did. I got 4 boxes. They had no bags, so we had to go back to the car, drop the cookies off, and then come back into the mall.
Did you get any of the Samoas? Pardon me, caramel delights.
I did. Those are the best.
They are.
They had some new kind of situation. I can't remember what it was called. And then since females for some reason like Thin Mints.
I know, and I have no use for them.
I think that's really. It is like what sex you are. I think that women like mint ice cream and mint cookies and men don't. I think it is based on gender. I really do believe that. For whatever reason. What cookies you eat? All right, Christopher Price, he's in Indianapolis. He was able to make it over there for the Combine. We will talk to him in just one moment.
Toucher.
All right. Christopher Price from the Boston Globe writes about the Patriots. He's out there in Indianapolis. You got out there, Christopher. Congratulations.
Thank you, Fred. I left Sunday morning at about 8:30 or so. And so I spent a day and a half out here in lovely Indianapolis, seeing the sights, talking to the good people.
Seeing the sights.
But yeah, it was a little slow here for a couple days before things started up yesterday, but it's always a good time out here.
I wondered if you were going to go. It's good that you got out, or you could have gone the Bert Breer route of not only documenting your travels, but putting on Twitter towards all the airlines that you felt were not doing their job. And you got to figure if you're Delta, you're like, oh no, we can't afford this. This guy's pissed. So
no, it was a good trip, and it was a good decision on my part, I think, to be able to come out here. All kidding aside, to get ahead of the storm. I know some of my colleagues I know Bert's situation. He flew into Cincinnati and drove, and that's not all that far from Indianapolis, quite frankly. But yeah, it turned out well for me.
Yeah. All right. So have you been out mingling with the people? Like the big thing is these executives, they start drinking, they get a little loose-lipped. Is that happening with you or no?
Not yet. It's still relatively early in the week for that kind of thing. But there are some executives. And one of the really cool things is, you can walk down the street and see, like the other night, I saw Elliott Wolf just kind of, just going from here to there. So just saying hi and just kind of catching up. And it's a far less intense situation than maybe any other time of the year, because you'll be able to just kind of encounter these guys and just kind of talk football and just kind of, make a connection that way.
And then also, look at Indianapolis isn't the greatest city on the planet, but it is it's probably a great place for you for these purposes, because it is a very walkable downtown in a pretty condensed area. So if you're New York City, you're not running into people on the street. This is this is a much easier situation.
Yeah, it's a small town. It's a small big city, and so you can get from one end of the city to the other. You can walk down to Lucas Oil Stadium, and you could see a handful of agents. You could see a handful of coaches, broadcasters, whatever the case may be. And it's a good week. I always tell young reporters to try and make it a priority to come out to the combine, because it's a good week to make connections.
All right. Yeah. So Elliott Wolf talked yesterday, and I want to start with this. Can you contrast his statements about Christian Barmore and his statements about Diggs?
A little. It feels like, in my experience, they want to really put a priority on trying to figure out a way to bring Diggs back. And I'm not necessarily saying that they don't want Barmore back, but if you had to, stack one against another, I think Diggs is more of a priority, especially when you look at this draft. I think there are more options for them when you look at some really good defensive tackles, some edge guys, some guys who can give you a little bit of oomph up front. There are more guys who might fit that classification as opposed to wide receiver. And that includes free agency as well. So I think that's all part of the same conversation. But I do think, again, at least in my experience, they're more interested at this point in bringing Diggs back as opposed to Barmore. That doesn't mean they want to deal Barmore this offseason. I just think that if you're trying to contrast one versus another, I think they'd prefer Diggs as opposed to Barmore if you had to make a choice.
I disagree with Barmore. I mean, there were so many things Elliott Wolf could have said when you guys asked him about Barmore yesterday. He's a really good player. We want to find a way to keep him here. You know the way it goes. Yeah. He went out of his way just to say, well, he's learning, he's trying to improve. We're helping him with that. Anything but we look forward to having him on our team next year. He's a valuable part of the defense. He didn't say any of that. And the lack of support from the original statement when we found out that he was going to go and wind up in court leads me to believe that I think he won't be on this team next year.
I think that we are looking at a situation where Elliott is making phone calls and trying to figure out a way to, I don't want to say set the table for his departure, but that could also come during the season, John. You could also see a Keon White type of situation where they don't feel like they're getting what maybe Christian Barmore is worth in return, a Christian Barmore trade. And so they might hold on to him until the trade deadline. So I think ultimately it's still a very fluid situation. I'm interested in hearing from Mike Vrabel today. on Christian Barmore. He's supposed to talk with us. He does the podium at 1, and then he'll apparently talk with us off to the side after that. And so I know that he feels very strongly about Barmore and keeping Barmore around. So again, I think at this point it's a fluid situation.
Yeah, I wonder how much it would change the dynamics of the draft and the rest of the offseason, because presumably if they're looking at this years ahead of time, which they always are, if he's in their long-term plans, and if for a multitude of reasons they decide, okay, Barmore is not going to work here because of, everything that's going on, like, how much do they have to pivot when it comes to the draft and it comes to free agency and the other things they'll be looking at in the offseason?
Well, I think if Christian Barmore isn't here for the 2026 season, they need to, create some sort of contingency plan for that front seven moving forward, whether that's finding another body in free agency or going out and getting someone in the first couple of rounds. There are going to be a couple of really intriguing defensive tackles who we're talking today. And I don't think any one of them might have the same sort of juice as Barmore when it comes to an on-field production level in 2026. But I think that there's some guys out there who you can see down the road as potential impact players for that front seven. And again, I'm not necessarily talking about defensive tackles, but if you go out and you find an edge guy, I'll pick in Zion Young out of Missouri, who had a really productive college career, you might think, okay, well, we can kind of slot him in there, and that lessens the impact of losing a guy like Barmore up front.
All right. What's going on with Will Campbell? Elliot Wolf is saying that he didn't look strong. He had that injury in his knee. I'm not quite sure. There seems to be a lot of reasons why he shouldn't have played then. Am I misreading the situation?
They wanted him to come back for the postseason, and if he wanted to come back for the postseason.
I know he did.
Yeah. And I think they looked at him as the best possible option at that point. And so really, ultimately, I wouldn't go so far as to say it did more harm than good, but they wanted him back. He wanted to come back. And I think in hindsight, the timing of the injury was what really sucked for them. If he went down in October and had a little bit more of a runway before the start of the postseason, maybe things would have been easier for him and the team in general. But I think it all came down to the timing of what happened. It just sucked because he was thrown right back into the fire, and he went up against some great pass rushers, and we all saw the result.
Are you concerned at all about him next season?
No. I'll say this, though, Fred. The group of offensive linemen that could be there at the end of the first round and in the second round, there's some versatile guys out there, including Freeling from Georgia. There's a kid from Texas A&M who's played both guard and tackle over the course of his career. And if they get one of those guys, that gives them some sort of plausible deniability when it comes to, maybe looking at this as a referendum on Will Campbell and what they want to do with him moving forward. Because if they get one of these guys in the first 60 picks, 70 picks, and he comes in and plays really well as a tackle, well, they can say, well, look, we love this kid. We love this kid so much. We're going to put him at a tackle spot, and then we'll move Will into guard. The other thing to remember here also is Elliott yesterday, kind of unprovoked, said, well, we love Morgan Moses, but Morgan Moses is going to be 35 next year, basically saying, look, we don't know how much longer we can count on him as a right tackle, while praising what he did over the 2025 season. And Elliott said, look, offensive tackle is a need for us going into the season. So there's a lot of different things at play when you talk about the Patriots offensive tackle, free agency in the draft. So I would expect some moving parts going into next season.
That's always what I thought they would do. If I was the GM, I'd bring in a tackle under the guise of or under the assumption that he'd play right tackle. And then if he shows in camp, and you can make that decision. And I agree with you. If just by taking a tackle, it's not a referendum on Will Campbell, but hey,
can never have too many good offensive linemen.
Well,
exactly.
Well, you got a 35-year-old, guy who's, you're very fortunate played every game last year. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it's not just an investment in the offensive line; it's an investment in your young quarterback. And I think you need to look at it that way. And I know Vrabel loves his guys, and I know Vrabel loves Will Campbell, but he doesn't want to throw him under the bus. But again, this gives them. I keep coming back to the phrase plausible deniability when we look at Will Campbell, and I know he loves him, and I know he says he's his left tackle for the future. But if you bring in another guy in the draft, then you're going to let the chips fall where they may. I think we may have even talked about this last time, that the great Vrabel quote is that, when he was a player, he used to watch the draft every year. He said, because, I want to know who they're trying to replace me with. So he understands the level of competition. He understands that the roster needs to get better if they want to get to where they want to be.
All right, and finally, are you getting a vibe, like kind of, are they going all in? Would they, trade that first pick for, I mean, Max Crosby is the big name that everyone's talking about. It doesn't need to be specifically him. Or do you think they're looking to keep the picks and kind of build up? I know Elliot Wolf touched on this, but just are you getting an overall vibe of what the offseason strategy is going to be?
I think they're keeping the picks. I think they recognize the fact that they're not a consistent Super Bowl contender as this roster exists right now, and they need to continue to build it piece by piece, brick by brick. They know they're not one or two players away from winning the Super Bowl, and I think they're proceeding accordingly, and I think that means them holding on to as many picks as possible, getting as many bites at the apple as possible, with the idea of getting another 2, 3, 4 guys in this draft class that are going to be impact players down the road.
Yeah, I don't know if that's not that seems like maybe that's the best decision to be making. All right, listen, Christopher Price, thank you. We appreciate the time. Read him in the Boston Globe. He's out there rubbing elbows and kissing babies with the good people of Indianapolis. We appreciate it.
Take care, Fred. We'll talk soon.
All right. Thank you, Christopher Price. And so much for the rest of you.
Yeah, no kidding.
You guys don't take care at all.
Man.
I like that. All right.
Jeez.
Very
sick what you do, even a little bit.
Yeah. Yes, I do. I can assure
it's a
you.
Sickness.
I can assure you.
You're ill.
I know. Because I'm new to the business and I like getting. I like
just
getting,
a tiny bit of recognition.
And the thing is that being in the business for so long, I know the glory and the accolades and the special treatment that one gets from this.
Right.
And that's, and I know what's on the horizon, which is just more and more and more.
Right.
I mean, I know when I walk into a room, the women, just throw themselves at me and everything's free.
The conversation hushes a little bit.
Well, it's a presence. It's charisma.
Yeah. That's the energy as much as it is people recognizing you.
Well,
they don't even know why they dull their conversations, but something in the air has changed.
It's funny because I always didn't believe in vibrations, but now I know it's true. That we as electric personalities almost have a vibration that people sense. Well, however you want to put it, it's what the kids say a lot when they're talking about me. Some say the coolest kids. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Essential Sports Hub headline.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. I was telling the story, it just came up about how on Sunday I was at the mall with my daughter and we went to buy Girl Scout cookies because they just had a table in there and I had a $100 bill. So I gave him the $100 bill and the lady from the Girl Scouts was inspecting it as if I was passing counterfeit currency. But then we got into, I know it's like a trite conversation, but we got into that for some reason women like Thin Mints. I don't want to get completely into it, but it seems almost gender based. The like of mint in these kinds of things. Mike, go ahead.
I'm 38 years old, and I've lived my whole life very comfortable and confident with who I am as a man. And then I hear you guys talking about Thin Mints and how only women like Thin Mints. And I'm thinking, wow, what does that say about me?
Well, it's 2026, like man. It's time to embrace it. Look, man, we're all fluid. We're all just humans.
It's this four-dimensional, sphere of gender and sexuality, and it's like, wherever you land, that's where you are. So you just gotta, But I think maybe for the purposes of our conversation, it was really more about the history and the genesis of the Thin Mint and its marketability over the years. Don't take any offense. Don't feel like you have to change anything.
Well, they used to give it to infertile women. They would give them Thin Mints in order to try to kickstart their body. Listen, if it makes you feel better, I'm listening to the Steven Tyler book, which is a real chore. And the guy, not even Steven Tyler's fault.
Why don't you tap out on these things?
I can't, Hardy. I can't.
You can.
I know.
Just start a new book.
Buddy, I did. Among the Thugs, which I've already read about a guy who, Bill Buford, who goes in with these, in 1982, he goes in with these Manchester United fans that are like this huge gang that, beat people up, and he immerses himself in it. It's good. I've read it before. But Steven Tyler, and this is the preeminent, theologian on these things. He said that most men are apes. They're 80-20 male-female. Steven, he's 50-50. He tried gay stuff, but he didn't like it. So listen, Mike, if Steven Tyler, if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for all of us. Let's just say that right there. I do think that
I've heard that before. I've heard it with Perry Farrell, who said that he tried it one time and he tried one act specifically and he didn't like it because he said his partner in it was behaving as though he were just eating an ear of corn.
So what was he doing?
Yeah, exactly. But how much of it is this fluidity that we're talking about, Fred? How much of it is just boredom? You've done everything up to that point. You've been on the road for a few years. You're a touring musician. There's some people who swear by this, so maybe I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, with Steven Tyler, and I don't know if he's telling the truth, but I think it happened when he was younger, and I think it was the 60s, and there was a lot of drugs and a lot of chasing, like that kind of artificial release of endorphins, like there. And I think that it was just like, hey, there's two of us. We could be making each other feel good right now. Let's give it a shot. I think that's the kind of vibe I get. The Bowie Jagger thing, like them having sex with each other.
Yes.
I think on Jagger's end, that's a lot of there's nothing left to do. Like I can have sex with anyone I want. I can walk into a room and like even famous women are just going to throw themselves at me. And you got to figure Mick Jagger, I've thought about this recently. You got to think that because of Steven Tyler thing and their similar looks, Steven Tyler had a horrible childhood. People were very mean to him. They called him racist names even though he's white. But Mick Jagger, there's no way people thought he was good looking before he was the singer of the Rolling Stones. So, you're thrust from women not having any interest in you to every woman, 99.9% of women on the planet wanting to sleep with you, which I think is fair. Like, I do think at that point, the height of their career, 99.9% of women wanted to have sex with them. It seems like everyone whose books I've read that's female has. So I think that with Bowie, might have been just like I'm having so much sex, like it's just kind of like morphed into this like everyone's a conquest, like everyone out there is available for my use. You know, I love Bowie. He's a brilliant guy. You know, he's kind of fey. He's good looking. He's, you know, androgynous.
Why not?
Give it a spin. And I think they gave it a spin for a while. And Iggy Pop would just get naked, walk into Max's Kansas City, and whoever wanted to do whatever they wanted to him. He's a little Gigi Allen in him. He was so messed up. You wanted at him. I didn't care if it was the bartender or like you know, some animal in the crowd. It didn't matter. If you brought in any kind of wildlife, it was all welcome. Iggy would just walk in all high and just be like, "Have at it."
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's open for business.
Yeah, and we've all been there, right? We've all,
sure.
We've
Well,
all
certainly with being
experienced
desired
this
in that
situation.
way.
Yes, yes, and just open to literally anything at that moment. Sure. Try this.
If you were an artist in the like 60s, late 60s, or the 70s in general, like the whole decade of the 70s, regardless of your genre, it seems like a real free-for-all. And they're all like, well, then AIDS came around and ruined it. And it's like, I don't think AIDS had anything to do with you as heterosexuals. Like, I don't think that slowed down male rock stars. Now, it was, you know, crippling for the gay community.
Yeah.
But, like, I have a feeling like Motley Crue in 82 at the height of the AIDS crisis wasn't really overly concerned with getting AIDS. I don't know if that affected their behavior at all.
There are certain chemicals that give one a sense of invincibility, and I think you're spot on with that.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like, you know, Vince Neil's a deep thinker that was overly, you know, fretting about the AIDS, considering he killed a guy drunk driving and then just has continued to drink throughout his life at an alcoholic rate. You would think that at least there would be the pretense of giving that up. You wouldn't be so open about it, but who knows? All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Chris Forsberg will be joining us.
Stay tuned for
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. And we are always streaming on YouTube. It's up there in perpetuity unless something terrible happens and they have to remove it. Or we play too much music. Hopefully the Bottle Rockets publishing doesn't knock us for playing too much of Stuck in Indianapolis. It's up there. You can download our podcast anywhere. Chris Forsberg is on TV. He flies airlines you've never heard of. He is not afraid of ending up like Leonard Skinner. He covers the Celtics for NBC Sports Boston. Well, it is a concern.
Is it?
Yes, because do you know this? Aerosmith was supposed to get on a plane, that plane, not that flight, but that plane. And their manager said, there's no way I'm putting our band on this plane. It was a notoriously flawed aviation aircraft. And the Aerosmith were told there's under no circumstances am I putting my band on this plane. Not that particular day, but around that time. So Chris Forsberg, just know that.
If Breeze Airways had to,
I didn't want you to name the airline because I don't want to lump them in. I'm sure they have never had a crash, but I'm just telling you, just be careful. I'm telling everyone, be careful the planes you get on.
I say operate with no fear. The low budget airlines are fantastic.
Okay. Well, very good. I saw that Hardy, did you see in the Slack channel that Chris is out there? He's having some fun with the clubs.
Yeah. What is that place? Where were you? What's going on?
Okay, so my home course, Raceway. It's hard because there's 3 courses.
Is it like a go-kart track / golf course?
No, but it's a legitimate, like, I don't want to say I don't know if it's NASCAR, but
I think it's a slot racing facility where you go there and you get the little model cars.
But my question is laser tag, yes or no? Or do they have?
No, there's no laser tag. Maybe that's in the budget for next year at our facility, but. No, it's like a real racing track, and it's next to it we have our golf course, which is actually kind of fun. Because I love when the snooty golfers come out and they're like, "Why is there so much noise?" It's like, come on, if you can't handle a little car noise in the background, then I don't need to be golfing with you. But they just put in a whole new extension of their clubhouse. We have 4 TrackMan simulators. We have an indoor putting green. We have the nicest bar in the quiet corner of Connecticut, and it is an amazing setup. And so as I couldn't stop laughing because as I'm using the putting green yesterday, there's a snowblower going by outside the doors, and I said, "This is the golf addict, the encapsulation of a New England golf addict." That I'm just trying to get some swings and some putts in.
Yeah, it's crazy that you were inside while people were outside.
Well, I know, Fred, but like
you're a wackadoo.
What are you on the moon? Is this 20 years from now? Okay, very good.
The juxtaposition of someone snowblowing while I'm trying to enjoy the sport I cannot enjoy because of this stupid New England winter. And as I look out my window, it is still snowing, and it makes me angry.
Yes, it is snowing right now. And it looks like it's snowing at a fairly decent clip.
Of course it is.
Good. Yeah, it's supposed to get into the 40s today, or around 40. So,
Fred, when will this melt? When will I be able to golf outside again?
Are you asking for real? Because I know the answer. According to Ken Mahan, or the other guy that does weather for the Boston Globe, they're saying it's very hard to forecast, but they are saying circle March 20th as a date where the snow may be gone.
I think that's optimistic.
Well, John says that because for no reason, it's uneducated, because the only time they say that it is taken until April or into April for the snow to melt was 2015 because of the vast amounts of snow. So I have been digging in. I hate it so much that I can't stop informing myself. I learned about how the ground just in itself can melt snow, that regardless of heat or the sun, the ground in itself can melt snow, but that can lead to compacting, which makes the snow harder to melt because the molecules in the snow they get more banded together, and then it shrinks, and that makes it harder to melt.
Well, it's interesting. I'm glad we've gotten into this topic because
you happen to be an expert.
No. But stay tuned for maybe the Sports Hub Golf Club this season. We'll find out. We're gonna,
you son of a bitch.
If it does re-rack and ramp up again, their Masters weekend, I'd love to have on a course super or two, maybe a round table of sorts, to
then
talk
you'll blow
about
all your guests.
to talk about actually how this is good for golf courses. It's the years where you just get super cold weather and not a lot of snowpack. That's how you lose greens. That's how you get real turf damage. But right now there's an insulating blanket of snow everywhere, and it's protecting it from the colder temperatures and the harsh conditions. So when it does melt, first of all that moisture gets way down, deep down. It's a nice slow dripping thaw that takes place.
Almost sexual.
Yeah, you get it's a soaking situation.
Oh,
yes. Yeah, and then so you get
like
that.
It's like you and forget it. Go ahead.
You get that into the ground without exposing the turf to all the harshness of the winter. So I think we could be in for really nice conditions this season.
When we golf in May.
So late March, Forsberg.
But is that for Boston? What about my neck of the woods where there's like 19 feet of snow?
Who
Do I have to
cares?
wait?
Yeah, they don't talk about it for stupid hicks. No, where do you live?
True. Worcester area.
So you go to Connecticut to a facility?
It takes me like 18 minutes door to door. I live so far into the south part of Massachusetts that crossing over to the lovely Quiet Corner takes no time at all.
How close to Worcester are you?
The next town over.
Oh, really? Oh, that's geographically interesting.
Yeah.
Because I have to go to Worcester all the time.
So, but this is the reason to bring our long conversations full circle. But I live, I can go to Providence for an airport. I can go to Bradley for an airport. They're all the same amount of time and distance for me, and that's why I live at the hub of the universe.
You really,
Massachusetts.
You really do, and by the hottest golf cart track in not golf cart go kart track in all of.
It's not a go kart track. I believe I remember one of my first assignments for the Worcester Telegram and Gazette. I got sent down to Raceway, the Raceway here in Thompson, Connecticut, and it was real live. I did not expect it. But you get to go through the paddocks, and then you get out there, and there's like stock car action. Maybe I forget what it was that night, but you can come out.
Have you ever seen a Malachi Crunch out there? Have you ever seen a the smash 'em up kind of derby?
I must assume they do that. I have not seen that. Like the big thing for that happens is typically on the weekends they do the burnouts and the smoke filters over the golf course.
Hell yeah, smoky burnout.
Yes, and it's so funny. The amount of people that come out to just watch these things.
It's like every doctor in New England goes to watch that.
That's fair.
I would like to see Pinky Tuscadero moonlighting as the cart girl. So she's racing one day, but then she hops on the Bev cart and starts tooling around. And let me tell you something. She's drifting. She's doing burnouts for the guys, and you tip her a little extra, and she might even spin that thing around to a 180 stop for you.
Well, it's better than Leather Tuscadero, who apparently smelled.
Yeah, she did.
Very, very bad.
Odor problem.
All right.
Will you all come out and see my course? Hardy, I'm overdue after you were kind enough to bring me to your location.
Yeah. I would rather do that than we had that half-ass plan to do like a meeting point somewhere. No, I'd rather experience what you experience on a regular basis.
Brad, you in?
In the spring and summer, I have to go to Worcester actually fairly often. So
that wasn't his question.
No, well, I'm saying that it's a possibility because I have to be there.
I would be happy to squire you about Worcester as well and show you all the hot spots.
I know where that D3 college is that's apparently in like this gang-infested area that's no fun to park in. Clark University. Are you familiar with Clark University?
Come on. Gang-infested area?
It used to be.
I'm not joking with you. I'm not being a pussy. Like I'm telling you that apparently I've been told that is a gang run area. That area around that school is. I'm not making it up. We all heard it. You all heard it. Yeah, like apparently that's very true. I don't know what to tell you.
Maine South can be a rough area, but it's not overly daunting over there. I shouldn't say that.
How would you know? Like seriously, like it's a low income area. You don't think there's any gangs just because it's not New York City or L.A.? Like I mean, come on.
I'm sure there is, but what I'm saying is I feel very safe and secure in my Central Mass nest.
No, I'm talking of the particular neighborhood around Clark University.
Why are you defending Worcester so much?
And I'm not saying Worcester's run by gangs. I'm saying that little.
Worcester gets such a bad knock. Worcester is like.
Who's knocking Worcester? I just said by Clark University. There's apparently that's all like a big gang area. That's all.
I'm sorry. I'm getting overly defensive about you criticizing one section of Worcester. I'm just telling you, there is this perception that once you get past 495, there's nothing left in Massachusetts. That is only true once you get into Western Mass.
Okay, so you're insulting Western Mass.
I love Western Mass, but it is fun to. We have Central
now.
Mass,
Do you believe Springfield's dangerous, or is that off the table too? Because that's a huge murder capital, is it not? Like that's like the murder capital of New England, if I'm not mistaken. Springfield.
I haven't crunched the numbers, but I enjoy parts of Springfield as well.
Well, I have. I keep a tab of what's going on. All right. So here we are.
You got to give him a pass. He's too intoxicated from the fumes of burning rubber while he's making double bogey on a short par four.
I'll tell you what. Get me a burnout. You know, sometimes they doctor the wheels, which I'm not a fan of.
No, I don't like that either.
What's going on with the NBA where there's all these games now, including the Celtics game last night, where I don't know anyone on the court? All right, I know very few people on the court. I obviously know the people on the Celtics. But it doesn't seem to, no matter who they play, it's a real collection of nobodies.
Well, I mean, last night was a bit of an outlier because the Suns have their two main stars are injured, and one got hurt at the end of the game before, broke his hand. Like no Dylan Brooks, no Devin Booker. So, and like even with those two, I think you would have looked at the Suns and gone, "Who is this team?" A lot of younger guys that are kind of on the come up right now. So that one I get. But I mean, like they played, like Luka and LeBron played. Like feels like we haven't played the Lakers full strength in a long time. Golden State was obviously a little dinged up. I don't know. Like it maybe it's a little bit of this time of year. It is a grind, and guys are missing games. I don't feel like this is a particularly heavy resting load management season. Like I don't think that there have been far more years where that's been prevalent. But certainly as you look at the spacing of the calendar, like tonight, you know, I would much prefer the Celtics be playing the Nuggets without a rest disadvantage on not 5 and 7 or second night of a back-to-back and to watch both teams be fresh. You know, the Celtics obviously picked their spot with resting Jaylen Brown last night so that he would be fresh for this game. And but yeah, like I think there is a conversation about one. I mean, I think it's obvious there's too many games for the NBA. I don't know if it'll ever come down because of revenues trying to get away from 82 games. But I do feel bad for the fans that show up once a year hoping to see, you know, player X from a Western Conference team, and the guy's not there, and you just have no chance, and you spent all that money. So I hope they can figure that out. But like I said, this year I think it's less of a concern than normal.
You know, Kevin Durant said you should ask Europeans in the world team if they're going to compete. If you look at Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic, now let's go back and look what they do in the All-Star game. It's a lot of BS with that. I can read between the lines in that. It's a shot at black Americans. We're controlling the sport. They're tired of us controlling the sport. Is it true that the NBA is pushing white players over black players, Mr. Christopher Forsberg?
I don't know how to,
as an insider,
I don't know how to respond to that.
Is the critique of the AAU
as someone
system,
who may be part of the problem, Christopher Forsberg?
Wow. So I hype up Peyton Pritchard too much?
Perhaps.
I don't know. The Sam Hausers of the world?
Perhaps. But by the way, so Kevin Durant, he said that like favoring the European model, and I don't even know what it is, to developing basketball players, which I don't, over the AAU model is a shot at black Americans. But the thing is that in this case, maybe the NBA does want white players, and maybe they do think it's better for marketing. I don't have any idea about that. But I can tell you the flaws in the AAU program are based on the health of players. Like there is a belief, and I'm sure you've heard this, Chris, is that
way too much basketball.
Right.
Guys getting hurt.
Is that exactly? And it's to protect kids. Is that the idea that from 10 years old, they're playing this incredible amount of basketball and it's the same repetitive movements over and over again that is why there's these like the injuries early in players' careers that can be attributed in part to wear and tear. So like players, as you can see, are like having catastrophic injury at a younger age, and there is medical belief, that the AAU model is not great. And we all know in every sport that a lot of the youth, the way the youth sports are structured is that it is a profit business. It is a billion-dollar business, I'm sure multi-billion-dollar business, and that it is oftentimes not in the best interest of kids. So I thought that was a little misguided. The thing about, I don't know what the European thing is, but the AAU system is flawed.
And I think the biggest thing for me is, and I think we all grew up in a time where you could play multiple sports and you didn't have to pick at like 6 years old what your sport for your life was going to be. And I miss that aspect. It's like rare now that you get, some of the Celtics players will say, oh, I played football, but they gave it up early, because they didn't want to get hurt. And then the AAU schedule conflicts with everything. And there's no, that stuff worries me. I think I hope that exposing kids to different sports, to like working different muscle groups, all that stuff, like it feels important. And, I do sometimes worry about the sort of specialization as early as we do it. Whereas, I just don't think there's as much wear and tear on bodies over in Europe, and maybe guys come out a little bit fresher and allowed to develop at a more reasonable pace.
Yeah, and also it's not great when a adult's livelihood is tied into a 12-year-old. Like, some of these AAU coaches are getting shoe deals and things like that. And when your income is based entirely on 12-year-olds and their performance and all of that, that's not a good situation for anyone. So whatever, I can't speak to any of the white black stuff. Kevin Durant would obviously know way more than I would about the way the NBA is trying to market itself. But the notion that the criticism of the AAU system doesn't have merit, and merit in protecting kids in general, is, I think, misguided. I do. And by the way, there's really no reason to specialize in anything until you're pretty much have matured physically. Because, I don't know, tennis or gymnastics are different, I'm sure. I don't even, maybe hockey's. Well, Thornton didn't play hockey until he was older, too. Like that specialization, in my opinion, is a pretty big waste of time until you're physically mature. And then you almost have to, because that's just the way things are now. You have to train specifically for that sport. But I don't think you have to do that till you're 16 years old. So that's my 2 cents on the matter. Is everyone happy? Is everyone happy I did that?
Yes.
Yeah. Did I make the world a better place or no?
You
Absolutely.
really did.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris. Thank you for giving me this platform to share my ideas.
It's what I like to do. I like to share.
All right. Well, you're back for one more. We'll get more. We'll dive down more into the Celtics. We'll get into our ad nauseum Tatum discussions and everything else. We can get into that in just a moment.
More.
Yeah, meat.
Now, more of your best morning buddies, Toucher and Hardy, on the Sports Hub.
They get back cuts, they get offensive rebounds, they get fouls. And I thought we were just very disciplined, the defensive game plan. And we just didn't give up the easy stuff that they get because of how well they execute on the offensive end.
We are Toucher and Hardy. We have Chris Forsberg from NBC Sports Boston on to talk about the Celtics. He lives in the Worcester area, Clark University, which is a good school and it got a good baseball field. But I said that I've been told it's in a bad area, gang affiliated. This is from Alex. No, you're right, which right there has got me. It might be better now, but my wife went to Clark in the early aughts and said it was legit scary at times, especially at night. Chris Forsberg. There you go.
I'll come squire people about if they need protection.
All right. Well, I know Clark University. I've got to go there all the time. All right, so let's get into it. Let's dive in.
Okay.
Jason Tatum, what's going on? You hearing anything new?
Nothing new. I think he, as he said when he met with the media last time, it is sort of day by day to see how he feels. I can tell from your tone, you're tired of the conversation.
No, if you have something, no, actually, no. If you have something, and it's not, this isn't an insult to you at all. It's just about the story. Do you have anything?
Or I guess any thoughts based on his practice level? What Mazzulla has said. I mean, this is
not said.
Yeah,
that's the thing. The fact that Joe just stared blankly when asked if he practiced with the team seemed to suggest to me that okay, he's practicing with the team now. It's hard that we don't get a lot of information. The Celtics have gone out of their way to not put timelines, to not put any pressure on him, to not even to reveal the minimum about what's going on behind the scenes. And I think again that's designed to take pressure off of him and allow him to go at his pace. So we're left, sometimes guys will, the main Celtics come down, you get a little glimpse into that, but no one's going to say like, oh, he didn't look like Jason Tatum, right? Like they're going to talk him up. So, look, the general gist, and I probably sound like a broken record, is that it's just going to be one morning he's going to wake up and whatever the last sort of mental hurdle is here, he's going to be ready to go. And, barring a setback, barring anything that goes on as he continues to do these 5-on-5 workouts and gets himself ready. But I get it. Like, look, it's all, I mean, you guys know it's like a daily conversation for us. And I think we're all at the point where we're ready to see him out there on the floor and turn the page on that conversation and start talking about how he looks and how he fits again and how that all works. And that's going to be a whole thing. But, again, I just think that he is progressing, and we're just kind of waiting.
It seems, though, Chris, that physically he's been cleared to play. I mean, all the photographs, all the B-roll of him practicing in front of media suggest that. It just seems that now we're down to, okay, when is he going to have his wind? When is he going to be able to play against other teams, which would suggest his return is very close.
Yeah, and I guess that's where I've always felt like. I mean, from the moment he started practicing with Maine, I said, man, it could be any day now, because it just feels like once you sort of cross that bridge where you're back playing 5-on-5, it really does just come down to, okay, how do you respond to those workouts? How much do you feel like yourself? And I think that's the one thing I probably didn't factor in enough when I was trying to kind of guess on my own when Tatum would return, because I thought for sure he put so much effort into the rehab that there was a chance it would be on the earlier side of what we've seen from guys. And I think part of the reason we're seeing it potentially here linger into March is that he is stressed. Like, he doesn't want to come back and not be Jason Tatum. And, there's in a way I respect that. Like, you don't want to come back and just be compromised to, whether it's not trusting your body or just, it's having the rust. And the Celtics have, because of their success, given him the ability to sort of navigate that timeline and not feel rushed to have to get back out there. So, yeah, I think you're right. I think if I had to guess, and again, no one has come out and said this, but sure seems like from all indicators that He's checked just about every box you can check physically. This is now at a state where it's just, the last part of it, maybe conditioning wise, is the last physical thing. And it's just like, when does he mentally feel confident enough that he can be the version of Jason Tatum that he wants to be to get back out there?
When you see a game like last night, and albeit against, a team that was also not star-studded, but when you see everyone, not just Jaylen Brown, being able to perform and being able to, have this season that the team is having, does it make you more or less concerned about adding someone else into the mix at this point? Because they're doing great, and even without Jaylen Brown last night, they're performing and they're winning. Is it, to me, I look at it and say, you know what? You're bringing back still arguably your best player or your second best player. I don't know how much of the apple cart can be upset when the entirety of the team seems to be playing this well.
Yeah, the way I look at it is the version of the Celtics with the best chance to win a championship includes Jason Tatum, right? Like, your ceiling goes up, your margin for error is lowered. Some of the things that have hurt you this year are fixed by Jason Tatum being out there. Now, the team itself has fixed a lot of what ailed it. Like, you go back to the start of the season, the defensive rebounding woes. They've just gotten so much better defensively. And there's a lot of encouraging signs that, regardless of how much of Tatum is out there by the time the playoffs start and all that this team can compete. But I go back to it, like, they've won when they've had Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown on the court. They'll figure out how that works. I'm not naive enough to think there might not be some rough patches in anything in life. If you were to reintegrate someone that's been away for nearly a year, there's going to be some bumps. But I think what I know is that when the Celtics had those two guys, they were a championship level team, and the development of some of the younger players has given this team the ability to compete again this year, especially given the wide open state of the Eastern Conference. So I suspect that Joe Mazzulla has thought a lot about how this will look. It's a little bit unprecedented. We don't know how reintegrating a top 5 player at this juncture of the season has not happened very often, and so they're just going to have to navigate that. But if they can get 20 games here where they get a look at it, I'm really confident it's going to figure it out, because those guys have always figured out how to make it work with the both of them.
Regardless of when Tatum comes back, this team has now turned itself into an elite defensive squad. I think it's 6 out of the last 12 games that kept opponents under 100 points. How do you explain that? Especially last night when Jaylen Brown didn't play, and he's a very good defensive player. You held that team to 81, regardless of who they had on the floor.
Yeah, just growth from guys that I don't know if even I would have expected to be as impactful as they are this year. From Nemish Queta being really good at that starting center role and really just kind of growing every day and being a defensive presence there on that back line. It feels like, more so than ever with the blocks and just being around the basket and finishing possessions with defensive rebounds. To the young wings, what a luxury. I think the Laker game highlighted it. I didn't know what Baylor Shireman was, even mid-season. When you were looking at the young wings, he was probably the one guy you said, can he be an impactful player night to night? And then he gets his opportunity, just like every other wing has, to go up to that starting lineup. And we see sides of his game that we just really only saw small glimpses of. And the defensive versatility, his willingness to chase Luka and wear on him, and then you pass the baton to Ugo, and he's a maniac when he gets in there. And Jordan Walsh with his length, and it's not fun for other teams right now, just trying to get the ball up the court because of the pest-like nature of this 3-headed wing monster. And so shoring up the defensive rebound is probably the biggest reason they have been a better defensive team. Teams are shooting a little bit worse from the 3-point line, which helps as well. But overall, I just think it's guys have gotten a little bit better. They've figured out which guys they can lean on, and it looks a lot better right now. Again, some of it's help. It's probably strength of schedule wise. I'll be interested as we kind of get into March and you get a couple games with OKC, a game with San Antonio. Can you still be this good defensively? But there's no reason to think that what we've seen in the last, since the end of January, is like a farce or anything like that. They can play defense.
Do you think the Spurs could win it all this year, or is it too soon?
It's probably too soon. The ability for Wemby to hold up over 4 playoff series will be like super fascinating. And yet undeniably, when you watch those games, just start sending the MVP trophy to San Antonio. Like the way he impacts the game is absurd, and he gives them a chance. Whereas most teams, I think he would just write it off and say they're just too young. I mean, he's just good. He's got to stay healthy, and they need the other young players to be good, Harper and Castle and all that. But like that team is set up really well, and largely in part because of that one guy. But yeah, like for long term, I think it puts even more. If I'm another team in the NBA and I know Wemby's going to be a presence for the next decade, like every opportunity you have becomes just a little bit more important because it's going to be hard for teams to figure out how to navigate that.
Yeah, they saw him play the other night against the Pistons, and they killed them. I mean, they're pretty good. Castle really good. Like the surrounding cast looks really good. So, but there is that notion that it takes a while. Do you think that's the case with the Pistons too in the East? Do you think it's too soon for them too?
I don't know. They learned a lot last year. I'll be fascinated. Again, like it all comes down to is Cade a little bit better than what we saw last year? And the one thing I'm worried about, I think that Spurs game showed it. When Duncan Robinson's not making shots, like they probably needed a little bit more shooting. I don't know if Herter was enough to sort of push them over the top, even though I thought it was a decent upgrade. They can be physical. They're going to give teams, especially in the Eastern Conference, a challenge. I think, like we were talking last night about which one team in the East do the Celtics probably, or like if you could wait the longest or not see them at all, who would it be? And it's probably Detroit, just because of the way they play, and the Celtics haven't always responded well to physicality. Although Cleveland now with Harden is clear is on a different trajectory as well. But I do think I think the Pistons can compete. But just like you said, every young team seems to need to get knocked down. Obviously, Boston went through that. Eager to see how the Spurs and Pistons respond on the big stage with talented teams against them, with some veteran teams going against them. It's just different for guys that have been through it. But those again, I keep saying it, like those two teams are set up really, really well for the future.
Okay. Yeah. Herter hasn't been doing anything.
Nope.
All right. Well, look, who would have thought the Patriots are in the Super Bowl? The Celtics are probably as good as any team in the East, and if they get Tatum back and he's 80%, then they're probably better.
Are they going to the finals? What should I be doing booking for my May and June schedule, there, Fred?
Are they susceptible to getting beat up? That's the thing. In a 7-game series
last year,
in a 7-game series, are they susceptible to like caving into physical pressure? Because Detroit, in my opinion, is by far the toughest team in the league. They were really beating Wemby up. It didn't do anything. He was still great. But they were, rotating guys in everyone was physically touching him at every moment of that game.
You also have to remember, they get beat up by the Knicks. Say the Knicks are the 3. You have to go through that. What's going to be left for that physicality when they play Detroit in the Eastern Conference Finals?
Because Detroit, the only thing about Detroit that I would like in a playoff series is, you're right, their shooting's terrible. Cunningham is not an efficient scorer. There's all that stuff. It's just that they're exceptionally physical, like almost hockey. They're like old school. That's the whole identity of the team, is that bad. They're trying to be like bad boys redo. So we'll see. Well,
and ultimately that's probably what I'm looking for. Besides like the Tatum stuff, like over the last 20 games of the season, how do the Celtics respond when they play teams that are physical? Like Oklahoma City, regardless of who they have out there, is a defensive pest of a team. Like, how do you respond to that when you go up against Wemby? And I know it's not the same like physicality, but having him out there, like, how do they respond to that? The more physical teams, I'm sure it's a point of emphasis. Like, I think we know a Joe Mazzulla team wants to be tough, but there's just a level they're going to have to kind of go up to if they see a team like the Pistons, and eager to see if they meet that challenge.
Yeah, the Pistons are a big fighting team. They love to fight. They love flagrant fouls and things of that nature. Cunningham will flagrant foul, then he walks away, and Durant comes up.
Yeah.
And no one's fighting Durant.
It's Isaiah and Lambeer all over again.
Well, but to Chris's earlier point, like if you're going to face them, I don't know. Do you want to keep until the end and you're in the conference finals and get beat up that bad and hopefully move on to the championship, or would you rather get that out of the way early? I mean, that would be the debate, I guess, if inevitably you were to face a squad like that.
Well, it looks like it's not going to be early. I mean,
right,
it's going to be late.
With neither one of those teams.
No, neither of these teams are falling apart the last 20 games of the season. You would think there's no reason to think that they would. But San Antonio looked really, really good. And look, I've seen San Antonio twice this year, but they just looked really, really good. All right, Chris Forsberg, NBC Sports Boston. Thank you, buddy. Enjoy your little racetrack and smoky burnouts and everything else you got going over there in the woods.
I was told by friends it's been referred to as Indianapolis of the East.
Yeah, I got that email too. That Worcester is the Indianapolis of the.
No.
Indianapolis is the Worcester. No. I got an email that Indianapolis is the Worcester of the Midwest. Is what it was with the email that. I got.
So Worcester was once referred to as the Paris of the '80s, I believe.
It is true because of the collection of artists. It is true. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you.
I'm here to educate, Fred.
Well, and you've succeeded, and
Thank
now
you.
we need 7 days to recharge. All right, thank you, Christopher.
Lady all.
All right, so here are the headlines.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy. more of Toucher and Hardy
That's what I want on my tombstone.
on the Sports Hub.
We are Toucher and Hardy. Pasternak, we're going to talk to Ryan Johnston in a moment. Pasternak was back at practice. Casey Middlestat joked that Swayman and McAvoy were on their world tour. And aside from the head of the FBI on our dime spazzing out like he was part of the team after the game, I mean, it's all well-deserved. They had to fly into Miami, and they got the celebration there. And you get invited to the State of the Union where they're going to give you awards. You're obviously, that's something you're going to do. And they did laugh at the president when he said something about the women's hockey team. And they're getting crap for laughing. Do you understand that?
No.
Like, what are they supposed to do?
I'm not fully aware of the context.
Do you know the exact quote that Trump said? So Trump calls him after the gold medal game. So that's fairly traditional. Right. So you take the phone call, and you're excited that you've won the gold medal, and now here's the President of the United States on the phone. And put yourself in their shoes. No matter how militant you are, you're the President of the United States is on the phone. You've just won. What are you walking out of the room? So, the president's on the phone, and he's like, I believe he was something along the lines of, I want to invite you to the State of the Union address. If I invite you, I'm going to have to invite the women's team or I'll be impeached.
Yes,
and,
that's right.
And then they all they do is courtesy laugh. Like, that doesn't even sound really like a joke. But again, no one puts themselves in anyone's position. Like, if you're on the hockey team and you're in this whole thing, and now the president, who I imagine they don't have a relationship with, this is like an odd thing, and the president is on the phone, and he says something that you kind of don't understand. The natural thing for a human to do, the polite thing for a human to do, is like when you think someone's telling a joke but you don't kind of get it, is to courtesy laugh.
Right. Yeah, it's a nervous laugh. It's you're laughing not because you think it's funny necessarily or even agree with it. You're just laughing because of the situation and like, oh man.
Now this begins all these articles, and now they're like addressing this thing, and I have to tell you that it's just as normal functioning human beings, that's the go-to response. I mean, think of how many times a day you do that. Think of how often you two have to do it with me.
It's
a
constant. Courtesy
laugh.
Yeah.
Just to feed this ego and to keep me going. That wasn't a joke. No, now I don't like it. Now it's too obvious. Nah, I like that one. But I mean, even Adam would have to say, and Adam is very militant. Isn't that the natural response, Adam? Is that like when someone says something and you're kind of confused, just to go, ha.
Who even heard what he was saying?
I don't know.
There's a locker room full of guys hooting and hollering, and all of a sudden they've got the president on the phone. I mean, I would argue that 90% of the people in the room didn't even know what the president was saying. It's hard to understand as it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a whole thing. But my concern, if I'm Sturm, and you again put yourself in his shoes, is that if you're Sturm, you're like, okay, well, I like being a head coach in the National Hockey League. I need my goaltender and my number one defenseman, the second best player on my team. I need them. And he doesn't even know when they're going to be back. He doesn't. He legitimately doesn't know when they're going to be back. And of course, 20 million people, by the way, watch this thing. Over 20 million people. And that was on at 8:30 in the morning on a Sunday. So this is an incredible thing. But, and you're going to celebrate. Listen, you're the toast of the town. Live it up. Who knows how many of these guys are ever going to win a Stanley Cup? Like, do you think Quinn Hughes anytime soon? Or not Quinn, but Jack Hughes? He's at New Jersey, right?
Yes. Quinn's in Minnesota. Yeah, it's not a favorite.
Yeah. So, I don't know if these guys are ever going to win Stanley Cups. So this might be it. So obviously, if someone's willing to fly me around the nation and honor me, I'm participating in that. I'm not insulting the team for doing it. But just like I put myself in the shoes of them when they're on the phone with the president, you have to put yourself in the shoes of the front office, of the coach, of the other players on the Bruins that are like, our job is pretty much tied to you guys, especially Swayman, completely tied to you. And I don't know when you're going to be back, and I don't know what condition you're going to be when you get back. Certainly Swayman's not overly worse.
Swayman will be fine. Well, Swayman might just be rusty. Swayman might play better than he has all season.
He just might be rusty.
Yeah.
He certainly didn't play well in the Olympics, but, I don't know what condition McAvoy's in from playing and also from partying. So,
in general, the Bruins had 10 guys go over there?
Do you think the Bruins were hoping that the United States wouldn't win the gold medal because that meant that they knew that there was going to be this 5-day long party going on afterwards?
I think that the Bruins were surprised at the length of this. And obviously the weather had something to do with it, but I think...
Well, they would have partied in New York, too.
No, I know that, but at the same time, I think they believed they'd get the players back yesterday. I think the White House thing kind of threw everything for a loop a little bit. And now Sturm is kind of scrambling a little bit. He told the media yesterday he only had 3 lines at practice yesterday. He's not sure who's going to be his starting goaltender. He's not sure what shape, you were just saying it, he's not sure what shape McAvoy's going to be in. I would bet McAvoy doesn't play tomorrow night. I would bet Jonas Korpisalo is your goaltender tomorrow night. I mean, it's at a key point in the season. We're going to have Ryan on. Ryan talked the last time we had him on about the schedule. Was it like 24 games in 45 nights or something like that?
Yeah, it's crazy. And this just leads me to my favorite story about the Chicago Blackhawks. They'd won the Stanley Cup, and it was like months after. And my friend was at a club, and Patrick Kane was one of the guys. There was probably a couple guys from the team, and they started spraying champagne on the crowd, and the crowd turned on them.
Right.
And they're like, what the hell are you doing? Like, stop spraying crap on us. Like they were like in VIP acting like something just happened.
Right.
And my friend swears that the crowd turned on him.
And it was September.
Yeah, it was legitimately like end of August. And like they were like, woo, like all drunk. And everyone in the club was like, get out! Like cheering on. Yeah, like stop it! Like you get one night to spray us.
Yeah,
this is no longer. Now this is just a laundry bill. Now I'm gonna get pulled over. Like all you're doing is leading.
It's not a cool story to go home from the club soaked and have to go to the dry cleaner. What happened? Oh, I got sprayed with a bottle of champagne from the guy who won something 2.5 months ago.
Yeah, it's like you get a free drink. You get free drinks for life. You get one celebration night. You're allowed to spray champagne on strangers one night. That's it. It's fun that night. $150,000 in champagne for the U.S. men's hockey team. I wonder who's paying for that. Joe Taxpayer, my friend. All right, we'll be back in just a moment with Ryan Johnston.
You're listening to Touch Your... a Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Playing without Jaylen Brown last night, the Celtics were down 11 points in Phoenix in the first half. Then they ripped off a 50-11 run and went on to blow out the Suns 97-81 for their fourth win in a row. Derek White, 22 points. Celtics right back at it tonight in Denver. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 9:30 and the tip-off at 10. Here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Patriots Executive VP Elliot Wolf met the media yesterday in Indianapolis. This is the site of the annual scouting combine. He said he'd like to bring back Morgan Moses and Harold Landry, among others, and is open to dealing the 31st overall pick in the draft. The Bruins' Charlie McAvoy and Jeremy Swayman were at the White House yesterday, and last night they were celebrating the U.S. Olympic hockey team's gold medal. Bruins still not sure when they're going to get those two guys back. Their first game out of the Olympic break is tomorrow night at home against Columbus. President Trump last night announced that U.S. goaltender Connor Hellebuck would be receiving the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And the Red Sox lost to Pittsburgh in Fort Myers yesterday, 16-7. They'll play Minnesota today. Johan Oviedo will make his Sox debut. Roman Anthony, Ceddanne Rafaela, Jarren Duran, and Wilyer Abreu all in the lineup, but Duran's in right field today, and Abreu will play left. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the DeMore McKim School of Business at Northeastern University. Ready to take your career further? Join them for a week-long series of virtual info sessions to help you find the graduate program that truly moves you forward. Northeastern.edu/business bootcamp. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
Listen to it, laugh at it, get mad at it, agree with it, argue about it. It is Boston Sports. Boston Sports. And it is all we do. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You know, I know. No, you don't know.
Everyone agrees that I'm the only one who's not wrong.
Right or wrong, they're back. Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Not just for us, I think for everyone in this league, it is a challenge. You totally get away from the game and.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. Ryan Johnston is, oh, by the way, you can watch us on YouTube. You can get in there and immerse yourself in the live chat. Every time I hear Joe, he's always very into the live chat. He's a part of it. He's taking place. I have a feeling it's a whole different vibe. Watch. Ryan Johnston is the voice of the Boston Bruins on 98.5 The Sports Hub. He has been on this show many, many times in that very chair that John thought he was not going to be in a couple years ago. And Ryan very well could have been. But now Ryan, listen, now he's got a better gig. Mm-hmm. He's got the gig John wanted, except different sport.
Yeah.
So Ryan Johnston, hello.
Good morning, guys.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Looking forward to getting back at it tomorrow.
You bored?
I wouldn't say bored. It was nice to get a little respite in the middle of the season, but I'm ready to get back.
You think Swayman and McAvoy are ready to get back, or
no chance?
Yeah, what's the deal with that? When are they coming back?
I don't know. We'll find out maybe a little bit more today. The gold medal and the travel and the snowstorm and State of the Union and all that got in the way, but we'll see if they get back today or if they get back tomorrow. And there was already some questions for Marco Sturm yesterday about is Korpisalo going to start the first game back on Thursday, which you would expect would be likely given the amount of travel that and partying that Jeremy Swayman has done here.
And that's the funny thing. And that's the funny thing about Swayman is that it's certainly not wear and tear. This is just basically enjoying himself. Like, you enjoyed yourself so much that we can't have you in goal.
He's played one game in the last 3 weeks. I'm sure, from that standpoint, I'm sure he's nice and fresh.
Yeah, no question about it. Do you think this is annoying Sturm?
No, I don't think so. For some coaches, maybe. Marco Sturm has, with Team Germany, been part of the experience as both a player and a coach at the Olympics, and he speaks so highly of it and what it means that I don't think he's going to be perturbed about them missing a couple of extra practices, or even if Swayman can't go on the first game back, or even we'll see about McAvoy. They might want to. Some teams they have the ability, if they want, to put those players on a non-roster situation for the first game back from the Olympics and give them an extra day or two to recover. I don't know if they're going to do that or not, but they have that ability. I would guess that probably wouldn't happen with McAvoy, but wouldn't shock me to see Swayman backing up at best tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I mean, with the veteran players, that was always a consideration. I remember talking about this with Chara a lot. Like, you would think rest for an older guy would be a good thing, but it was talked about then how the veterans were more susceptible to rust than anyone else. So if you're talking about a player like McAvoy or even Swayman, yeah, rust is the first thing that comes to mind. But I don't know, at that age that those guys are, an extra day may not be harmful to them, at least in terms of putting even more rust on something that could be there, especially in Swayman's case, because he hasn't played.
Right. That's the difference with Swayman, is that he got to play the one game over there, and that was it. So how sharp is he right now? I would guess would want him to get a practice or two in before, hopefully before he gets back in a game situation. For McAvoy, he's been playing in typical situations and heavy minutes and all that throughout that tournament. So it's a little bit of a different story. You want to make sure that he's healthy, because as I think we talked about when I was on with you guys last time, tomorrow starts 25 games in 48 days. To finish out the regular season. So there's not going to be a lot of practice time. There's not going to be a lot of rest time for these guys over the next month and a half. So if McAvoy needs an extra day to recover, fine. I know some people won't necessarily want to hear that, but that'll be up to him and the coaches to figure out.
And lost in all of this, Ryan, is tomorrow night's game very important. Columbus is 4 points behind them for the final wild card, and you were talking about playing basically every other day. And then you have the trade deadline a week from Friday. I mean, I don't know how, if you're Don Sweeney or Marco Stern, you negotiate all of this in the next 9 or 10 days.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you look at, as you said, Columbus is 4 points back in the standings, and they have a game in hand on you. So, they're right there. The team that's really come on since they made the coaching change back in mid-January and brought in Rick Bowness. And so, listen, you don't know what anybody's going to look like coming out of this break, right? There's going to be, some teams that use it as a reset and kind of, get back to where they wanted to be before the break. The Bruins, despite a couple of shootout losses before the break, were where they wanted to be. There certainly are things that they need to clean up. And yesterday they worked extensively on the penalty kill, which is an area that they've really been struggling at, even as they've piled up wins here over the month and a half before the break. So, some teams are going to use it as a reset. The Bruins are going to need to figure out how to get back to where they were prior to the break. And that can be difficult when, you've basically been practicing for the last week with half a team, the other half of your team being over in Italy. And so, yesterday they went through a full practice. They'll do so again today. And then we'll just kind of see. But that first game out of a long break like this, you really have no idea what to expect from anybody.
How much different did practices look to you while you were, during this break, when the ones you were at?
Yeah, it was just, they just couldn't do, when Marco talked about it yesterday, they had, about 3 lines worth of players. They didn't have any of their normal goalies. They were bringing in, an emergency backup goalie. They're calling up a, goalie from Providence and kind of filling things. It's not that the drills that they're doing are much different or anything like that. It's just when you don't have basically any of your star players and you only have half to 3/4 of your roster, I would imagine that the mindset is just different. The guys are maybe you hope it's not, but guys are kind of maybe just going out and going through the motions because they're not skating with their normal line mates. They're not, it's just a different feel. And I think Marco Sturm admitted that yesterday. And so he said yesterday, they had the Finns back yesterday. So Jokiharju and Korpisalo both took part. Pasternak is back. They've gotten all those guys back. So with the exception of McAvoy and Swayman, they basically had a full team yesterday. And so he said that was nice to get back to, because it's you're getting back to that semblance of normalcy.
Ultimately, though, Ryan, you were talking about normalcy. Pavel Zacha is a guy who a lot of people thought was going to play in the Olympics, didn't. And I know he was wearing a non-contact uniform earlier last week. I mean, what is his status for tomorrow night?
He's a full go as far as I know. I guess, he had said that it was a concussion, that he suffered shortly before the break there. I'm trying to remember which game it was. I think it was the Philly game, maybe, which was the last home game, and missed a couple of games before. Didn't play in the outdoor game and missed the game in Florida. And they made the decision not to go. But he's he's practicing in regular sweater, so all indications would be that he'd be good to go for tomorrow.
All right. Well, Ryan Johnston, we look forward to hearing you. We look forward to the Bruins being back. And have fun calling 25 games in 48 days.
Jesus.
Hey, when I was in minor league baseball, it was 76 games in 79 days was our short season schedule. So this is a cakewalk.
But you got that to be on that bus for great lengths of time. So that was
yes.
the advantage of
and
that.
And visit some of the great cities of the world, like Oneonta, New York.
And see so many matinees. That was the true beauty of the whole thing. Thank you, Ryan. We appreciate it.
Good to talk to you guys.
All right, there you go. So the Lions are. There's a reason I'm saying this. The Lions are playing in Germany this year. The Patriots are playing at the Lions this year, and the Patriots, as you all know, one of their global markets is Germany,
and their dedicated foreign country they named a year or two ago is Germany.
Right. So we had someone from the World Cup on, and when the interview was over, the marketing woman that was handling the World Cup stuff also works for the Vikings, and she was talking about how the NFL has literally divided the world and given each team like a South American team. I think Minnesota had Brazil, or I can't remember what it was. But you get a South American team, you get a European team, or place, not team. You get a place. And, to hyper focus on that area and to make that, it's kind of really smart because you want to make that area fans of a particular team rather than just the product as a whole. So, Germany is the Patriots, so that would make sense. They're playing in Munich, I believe. But
yes.
It would make sense that the Patriots would play the Lions in Munich, which will rob you of the Ford Field experience. And for that, I apologize. But if you're looking to go overseas and an excuse to go to Germany, that should be a hell of a game. I wish it was. I hope it's not international.
I want the Thanksgiving game, to be honest with you.
Well, you're not getting it, Johnny.
No.
They're not going to give that to you.
Oh.
It's prime real estate. They don't need the Patriots sullying that up. That's a long-standing tradition.
Super Bowl team. Super Bowl
team. That's a long-standing tradition of great Lions teams playing on Thanksgiving. They can't sully it with some AFC,
right?
Also ran,
right.
Yes, it would be good if they had the Thanksgiving Day game, but I would like to see those teams. European games obviously are different. They seem to be low scoring as a rule. That's the way they seem to be.
Yeah.
Was that the Colts game from a couple of years ago?
Yes. It was the Colts game. I know that I watched an overseas game this year that was incredibly low scoring. I watched the whole thing, and it was a miserable game. And they were saying Denver just wanted to get out of there. And so, because just based on conversations that we've had over the course of this last season, I really want to see the Patriots up against the Lions. I think that's a very intriguing matchup to me because it's strength on strength. The Patriots defense is a very, very good defense, and the Lions offense is obviously elite. So I would love to see that, and I am hoping it's not in Germany because I just think that will kind of change the dynamic of it. I would prefer it indoors. I'd prefer it, in the United States and have both teams going full bore because I am looking forward to that.
Yeah, it should be a great game, and you're right. It would be a good travel game for anybody to go see them in Detroit. But for these overseas games, which do tend to be a bit of a letdown for whatever reason, whether it's the travel or just the unfamiliar confines, there's no way that's not a good game between those two teams.
I just prefer it to be here because they play differently overseas, and it is the travel. And remember, they have to bring the weight room.
Oh, it's very
We
important.
learned they bring everything.
There's no weights there.
For whatever reason,
Well,
the lady...
they're weights, but they're in metric.
Yeah, exactly.
So they don't know how.
No one knows how much they're lifting. They could get hurt.
It might not be Munich. Mike Reese just tweeted out the NFL has announced the Jaguars will play 2 games in London, and the Patriots are supposed to visit the Jaguars.
Yeah, but that doesn't make as much sense.
No, it doesn't.
And the Jaguars always play 2 games in London. So no, but that doesn't make as much sense as the Lions game in Germany for the reasons I just laid out. You just bulldozed over everything. But I had laid out a fairly relevant argument about why the game would be in Germany. You know? Why would you, in all seriousness, why would you have them play in London if you're having them go to Europe? Why wouldn't they go to Germany? Where you're trying to build a Patriot fan
They've
base.
already planted the Patriot flag in Germany. They've claimed Germany in the name of the New England Patriots. That's ours now.
Now it's time to conquer another country.
You can go over there. You don't even need a passport.
Yeah, I've heard they want to build a wall again. I've heard that they want to get East and West back in
because
there.
they love to defend the wall thing, and it's just they're trying to start a whole new Patriots vibe over there.
Absolutely, they want to a little spice things up a little bit over there. Get the wall back up. And finally, by the way, John, I had belittled you earlier for your weather predictions, but I have just seen according to the Euro model. That over the weekend or Monday, basically, we could be getting more snow. Not a blizzard, but a significant amount.
Anything more than 3 inches is a pain in the ass at this point.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
Hey.
That's medically true. To talk to any gynecologist, but yes, if we get more,
gynecologist.
Yeah, because they know all about depth and nerves and things of that nature.
That's a different area.
No, it's the area affected by the inches. A gynecologist would be in the thing accepting the 3 inches.
No, not in John's metaphor.
I stand by my comment.
See, he took it
according
somewhere
to
else.
most proctologists.
No. Well,
Yes.
you just made it filthy. I was saying biblically.
He said a pain in the ass.
No. He said anything more than
3 inches is a pain in the ass.
You took it a step further.
Fred, you're fine.
All right,
I
very good.
appreciated where you went with it. That was fine.
he was paying more attention to you. He got both ends of it. I just stopped at the 3 inches,
Right.
and he said pain in the ass. Touche. Fair enough. Now I understand it. All right, we will be back. It is an award-winning email segment that is sponsored by a real business. We will have that for you in just a moment.
email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
It is a great idea, and another great idea is Jeffrey Glassman Injury Lawyers. The Toucher and Hardy email bit is powered by Jeffrey Glassman Injury Lawyers. If you've been hurt in a car or work accident, you got to get Glassman. Don't just send an email. Call all 7-617-777-7777 or visit gottagetglassman.com. I am not this week getting a lot of emails. I attribute that partially to the snow. But if you would like to email us, you most likely will get your email read because I don't know about you guys, but I am not getting a lot. I'm getting a lot from Blind Scott.
I got one talking about something about Dick's House of Sport, and that I immediately thought of our own young Ryan Beaton, who was living in a hotel at least one more day than he had anticipated, which forced him to go out yesterday and buy socks and underwear. Now, the interesting part of this, Ryan, tell me about your purchase price for these garments and what you had been accustomed to paying for socks. Wait till you get a load of this, kid.
I never realized you could go to Marshall's and get socks for like $10. I was going to Dick's and they were like the same Nike socks are like $40 at Dick's Sporting Goods.
This idiot has been buying his socks at Dick's.
Well, Dick's is a sponsor, and I will tell you that you're going there for customer service and selection, among many other things.
High quality stuff. I have a running joke with my friend Justin that we snap a photo of each other every time we're at Dick's, and I can pull up my text messages. Between me and Justin, we are spending more time and money at Dick's, and it's a fabulous place. But if you're buying socks, that's what places like Marshall's and Target are for, Ryan. What
Dick's
are you doing?
is the place where the cool hang out, the swats like to play, and the rich flaunt clout. Everyone knows my posse's on Broadway. Are you?
Well, I can't argue with that.
Are you staying, Ryan, still at a hotel?
I think last night is my last night. I checked out this morning, and I'm going to go back home even though we don't have power.
So you still don't have power. Now, where do you live?
In Plymouth.
Okay, so you live very far away.
Yeah.
Now, but they've opened it up for cars now.
Yes.
Are you excited there's more snow?
No.
Snowing pretty good,
I guess
actually.
the power is supposed to be back on at like 8 p.m. tonight.
Well, it was supposed to be on yesterday.
Yeah, they said 10 p.m. last night, and then they changed it to 8 p.m. tonight.
So what are your parents doing? Because obviously they're not running heat right now.
Yeah, they were going to go to like a hotel or something, but then they heard that it was going to be back on last night, so they stayed. But then that changed, and now they're just stuck in a cold. They've been in a cold house for like 3 days.
They have a fireplace?
No, it's all electric heat. It's nothing.
Oh,
yeah, because I have a fireplace too, but I think it's electricity is needed to get the gas going for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, I mean, that house is going to be exceptionally cold right now. Have they been leaving the house?
I think that, well, they were stuck in the house for a while because there was 3 feet of snow on the ground. It took them 2 days to shovel the driveway and plow it or snow blow it. So they've been
So
stuck
they were
there.
like trapped in the house?
Yeah.
God. Wow.
I think my dad took the dog to my grandmother's house so that they could actually be like warm up the dog.
Boy, the Beans got a whole family situation, a network that spans many generations, all helping out with each other, all a community still.
But they're all destitute because they're buying their socks at the wrong places.
Well, listen, he figured out Marshall's, and listen, he's in Plymouth, which does not have the shopping options that Waltham does. And so he was able to do that.
It was a revelation for him, though.
Yeah. And I mean, he lives far enough away where he was stranded and had to buy clothes because he couldn't go home. This is the place where he goes to work 5-6 days a week. And he is so far away. I mean, wrap that around. He works 6 days a week because he used to come in on the weekends. I don't know if he does anymore. Ryan's not a big talker. But but he lives so far away that like rather than going home and picking up clothes, he had to go purchase clothes around where he works because the travel to and from would have been too much for him. So he stayed. Well, it's good that you got to stay in a hotel. Jeez. I would hope they get that power back up. I mean, I know there's like hundreds of thousands of people without power, so it's not as simple as that. But that is, you know what? You got to have gratitude that you have power. You got to have gratitude that you didn't lose power. Maybe you'll lose it today. Who knows? I mean, it's snowing pretty good.
That's all right.
No, it's blowing sideways. It looks like power outages to me.
Fred, we were talking earlier about the celebrating going on by the Olympic team and other teams, and the $150,000 bar tab.
Mm-hmm.
You said who paid for that? I didn't know this. I went back and found an old email, and I've done some fact checking. Do you know who paid the tab?
No.
Pat McAfee.
Oh, good.
Thank you for representing the United States of America in such a great way. It was an honor to watch you win. Enjoy the hell out of it tonight. All of your drinks are on me. The tab was $150,000. He was went on TV to talk about it, and apparently this is a thing.
Hopefully it'll be some good
Well, what a way to use your $150,000 for the betterment of mankind.
Yeah.
Help people, help multimillionaires party.
No way they could have afforded any of that.
Well, and it's no way a publicity stunt.
Yes.
It's
They might talk about that for a minute or two.
well, it's $150,000 worth of advertising.
Yeah.
I mean, and the advertising you're getting for that is far greater. And also the amount of disposable income on hand. But it's probably an LLC, so he can take it out of that.
Yeah.
It's probably not just him. It's probably like the Pat McAfee media company sending the $150,000. And maybe because it's a Olympic team that's deductible. I don't know. I'd have to run the numbers. I'd have to get a CPA on the phone, but I'm not certain about that. I do know the head of the FBI was carrying on in the locker room, and I have to imagine that's taxpayer money. I'm going to go on record as saying that's taxpayer money. That's private plane stuff. That's going to Italy on a private plane and under the guise of FBI business, and then going in there and carrying on in the locker room.
He's in there investigating, and it's security aspects that you couldn't possibly understand.
Usually the head of the FBI, you would assume, kind of buttoned up guy.
Maybe not to call too much attention to himself.
Generally,
yeah.
In film and in books,
Yeah.
generally a fairly buttoned up kind of precision man of great restraint and cunning and discipline.
The head of the FBI doesn't exactly post his picture on a wall for everyone to look at.
Well, or just out there with the FBI, just carrying on in the locker room. Did that strike anyone else as queer? A little strange? That you're just like, aren't you guys supposed to be in suits? With your finger to your ear, getting information about something that no one knows about.
Nah, that's Secret Service.
Well, he was in the Secret Service, so maybe this is making up for that. I never thought I'd see the day that the head of the FBI was holding like a Michelob Ultra or whatever the hell they were drinking in there and jumping up and down with the U.S. team.
I got one. Morning, John. Anyone else notice when he talks about golf, Hardy's frame of mind mimics a happy-go-lucky Dan Roach? I got a Snoopy keychain. Yeah, love it.
I did get a Snoopy keychain. Look, he's carrying a golf club.
Yeah, he does like golf, and he does. And I don't know, John, if you have this in your life, because I don't. He's got something in his life that he outside of other people that he truly loves. Like golf makes him that happy. Enough where if it was Snoopy anything else, he's a grown man. He's not walking around with any other kind of Snoopy thing on his chain, but the golf club legitimizes it for him.
And he's got the leaf blower that he puts in the golf bag.
Well, that's just his two loves. I mean, equipment and golf. But it is true that he has something that he truly loves, and that's something that I'm very jealous of.
Yeah, you don't have it. John is close between the cooking and the Robert B. Parker novels, the Spencer series.
Oh, I didn't realize liking an author counted. Well, there are authors I do like.
No, well, you just said it. Authors, you spread your love around. Wallace got one.
Got one.
Yeah,
That's
Robert B. Parker. Him and my father. My father's got it. And I was going to get him a signed book. And then for Christmas one year, because I didn't know what to get him. And then I realized, what the hell am I doing?
I got one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, what am I doing?
What?
This is just going to go in some box.
What book is autographed?
I believe it's Paper Doll, if I remember right.
Oh.
Either that or Small Vices.
Those are two very different eras.
Yeah. He was holding a book signing for both. Not at the same time, at different times.
Small Vices about a hardware store run by little people. Very specialized. Before the internet, too.
Yeah.
It was a whole situation.
This is from Sean. Said, Hardy, apologies for the late email. This came in late yesterday. I'm a dirty podcast listener who starts work around 10 a.m. and knocks out emails and whatnot after hours. But I had Seinfeld on in the background recently and loved a rewatch of Season 8's English Patient, the Mandelbaum episode. I was wondering why you said you didn't like the Mandelbaum part, as the slow and silly build to the crescendo of Jerry lifting the TV. And you mentioned Lloyd Bridges looking old, but everyone looked pretty good. Okay. So, number one, I don't like the move of Jerry picking up the TV and moving it. I don't like it whenever Jerry is made out to be somehow kind of cool or, like strong in some way, like the Milos tennis episode.
Yeah.
Where it's like Jerry was really trying to get a couple of good-looking serves in there for the camera.
Yeah.
I don't care for that. And I also don't care.
That's not a very good episode, by the way, for just because it's not funny. The Milos episode.
Yeah.
I love the Mandelbaum episode, but go ahead.
But I don't like the end of them. And I'm very nitpicky here, but we've watched these many, many times. And since you asked, Sean, I don't like the fact that Lloyd Bridges' voice is dubbed at the end when he's barking through the megaphone. And he's yelling at Jerry to, like, keep up the pace or whatever it is. And you can tell they had to go in and dub it afterward. And it is not great quality on that episode. They had to piece it together, and they wanted Lloyd Bridges involved, and that's fine, but I don't like it.
I love that episode, and I got to tell you that it being back on Comedy Central is about as big a gift as I've been given in 2026, and I've already had my birthday. I'll tell you, that coming back on Comedy Central, and it's on Sundays now. Sunday late afternoon, which is a triumph outside of football season. That you can just put that on and your friends are right there. You don't have to deal with anyone. Your friends are right there on the TV.
Yeah, there they are.
Your glowing friends. I'm part of the gang. We're all just hanging out. Now, if I put it on Netflix, that's like desperate. But if it's on TV anyway, then I'm just hanging out with my buds, taking care of business. I unless it's the first season, that show. People talk about how and a big thing is like, because Larry David left, I think, before season 7. And people there go, Larry David is like a brilliant comedian. There's, when he left, the quality of the show went down. I couldn't disagree more. The more cartoonish those characters became, the more I liked the show.
There are a handful of episodes in those non-Larry David years that hold up with the best of the ones from seasons 4, 5, 6. I mean, they're really, really good.
Yeah, and people are like, well, the episodes don't all like get a cohesion at the end that pays off, and I don't care about that. The Dick Cavett episode is one of the great episodes, and that's absurd. Like
the Merv Griffin.
Or Merv Griffin, rather.
It's the T-Bone and I were having apart from all of this, 2 days ago, texting each other back and forth about, because he found like a list of the best episodes, and the one that got left off was Merv Griffin. I'm like, how do you leave the Merv Griffin episode?
Because people think because it's not Larry David and it didn't have a clever kind of, twist at the end, or it wasn't cohesive, or that it was completely absurd, that it's somehow less funny. And sometimes things are just funny, that just on their own. Like it doesn't have to be like covertly clever or have some kind of hidden thing where they all get together. Now that's like masturbatory and probably for writers makes it harder to do. But if you have scenes that are just very funny, that's fine with me.
Just do it quickly, right? It's just season 8. That's the first season without Larry David.
Okay,
He left after 7. Bizarro Jerry.
That's a great one.
That's a great one. The Fatigues, which is Frank Costanza serving food.
Oh, that's a fantastic. He gets and he remembers getting everyone sick. Yes, that's a great episode.
Kenny Rogers Roasters.
That's a great episode.
That's a great episode.
Where Jerry turns into Kramer.
Yep. Little Jerry, I didn't care for.
Oh, that's a great. Is that the one where he makes the Fusilli Jerry?
No, that's the cockfight.
Oh, okay. What was Little Jerry?
I don't know.
Yeah. If Fusilli Jerry is one of the great episodes too.
It's Yada Yada in that season.
Yada Yada is in that season. Muffin Tops,
which is a great episode.
Summer of George.
Great. That was on yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, that's fantastic.
Yeah. I like season 8 and 9 a lot. I like it way more than seasons 1 and 2. Way more.
But season 9, the Merv Griffin show. Come on. The Slicer, I love.
That's a great episode.
That's a great episode.
Not Merv Griffin great, but that's a good episode. That's a good episode.
Do it quickly.
Yeah.
Because it's no picnic.
All right. We'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Celtics won their 4th game in a row last night, 97-81 in Phoenix.
Log on to goodwill.org and become a job creator. That's goodwill.org.
Deep three, violent two-hand slam. Wow.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
IYKYK, which obviously YD. Okay?
Dutcher and Hardy, mornings on the Sports Hub.
We know what you're thinking. What could I possibly have missed from the show? It's time for The Stack on Dutcher and Hardy.
All right. Dutcher and Hardy, The Stack is brought to you by New England's largest Volkswagen dealer group, Colonial VW, located in Medford, Wellesley, and Westboro. Come see the amazing finance and lease offers happening every day at colonialvw.com. Yes, you can have it all at Colonial.
You mentioned off the air a few minutes ago, Fred, that Robert Carradine died a couple of days ago, very sadly. Or a sad situation, as apparently he had been suffering with bipolar disorder and took his own life. But when I saw this news a couple of days ago, I went back and I said, we know Robert Carradine from Revenge of the Nerds. Can you name another Robert Carradine role or something else that you know him from?
I cannot.
I can't either.
But
for Wallach, he's a bit of a hero.
But what's odd about, and not to be trite, but what's odd about Robert Carradine is he looked super cool when he got older.
Yes.
Like he didn't look like he had like cool gray long hair and like a cool beard. Like he didn't look at all like a dork. He looked almost like ruggedly handsome.
Well, there's a couple of films that John and I have seen. Fred, one maybe that you saw.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I think you may have seen the Lizzie McGuire movie at some point.
I have not.
Okay.
My daughter was never a Lizzie McGuire fan.
2003, but Robert Carradine also portrayed a skinhead in Escape from L.A. Now, this seems to be a case of unorthodox casting.
Yeah.
You needed the work, clearly.
Well, I don't know if it's him taking the role so much as him being cast in the first place.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like the most Aryan guy in the history of the world.
He also played a tracker in Django Unchained. I think we've all seen that.
Yes.
And maybe most notably, one of his first film roles, you have to go back to the 70s. In 1976, he was in a film called Revenge of the Cheerleaders.
Oh.
And what do you know? He comes around, he makes Revenge of the Nerds, and then, of course, Revenge of the Nerds 2, Nerds in Paradise, and all the rest is history.
Which featured Courtney Thorne-Smith, which was a big fan favorite in the Dutcher household.
Bradley Whitford, also in that movie.
Yeah, I didn't so much care about anything going on in that movie other than Courtney Thorne-Smith. I found to be absolutely alluring.
Also in an episode of NYPD Blue, John. Now, I have not come across this episode in my endless hours of NYPD Blue watching now that I know it's got its own Roku channel, but I'll be on the lookout for it.
What season? Does it say?
No.
Yeah,
I can't help you.
Got to figure it's the Rick
Well,
Schroeder years.
I got to start clicking through on IMDb, and then we're talking about pop-ups. So.
The only thing I knew about NYPD Blue is it was shrewd of that redheaded guy to leave it.
Yes.
Because his character, his star just kept rising. He didn't want to be saddled with that TV career. He was like Clooney leaving ER. It was a brilliant move by him, considering I just know him as the redhead. And I know Donnie Most's name.
Mm-hmm.
So
I know my redheads.
David Caruso was in one movie that I can think of. He was in a movie called Jade.
He was in King of New York.
He was in King of New York, but
the movie with Christopher Walken.
Great movie, but the one he made after NYPD Blue is with Nicolas Cage, I think.
Now, is King of New York really good, or is it? Are you remembering it?
I've seen it recently, and I really like it. But I can't tell you if it's good
because there's a lot of like Instagram activity around King of New York. Like there's a lot of clips in my algorithm, but I've never seen it.
Let me rephrase that. I won't tell you that it's good. I enjoy watching it still, and it's oddly like slow paced and kind of quiet given the subject matter. And Walken is really good in it. And a few other actors are really good in it. Lawrence Fishburne is amazing in that movie.
I agree with Hardy's take, and I would say if you watch it through the lens of when it was made, like it's a 90s kind of New York gangster movie, then you will enjoy watching it.
What is the movie with Bill Murray as the mob boss?
Caddyshack.
Robert De Niro is the...
what about Bob?
Groundhog Day.
Robert De Niro, Uma Thurman's in it.
Ghostbusters.
No.
So we had something in Slack that
the redhead's in that.
They're making Heat 2.
Yes.
And I, over the last couple of weeks, when I had nothing to do, sat down and attempted to watch Heat 1.
Can't.
You can't. It's awful.
There's one scene.
It's like legitimately awful.
There's one
It's
scene.
really bad, Hardy.
No, it's not.
No, and this isn't
can't make
Fred
it.
hates everything and he's a dick. I'm telling you, it's bad.
No, it's not.
It's not good.
I really like Heat. I legitimately like that movie. Now, there are a couple of scenes that go on a little too long. I would like to be in the editing room when they were piecing that film together, but I still think it holds up. I read Heat 2 already. I know what's going to happen. I won't spoil it for you.
You read the script?
No, it was a novel. Michael Mann did it with this other author. So it is a prequel / sequel to Heat. Heat 2, though.
All right. Yeah. Very good. All right.
Quick Change, is that the movie you were talking about?
Mad Dog and Glory.
Oh,
That's
Mad
the one
Dog
I'm thinking
and
of. Yes.
I've never seen that in my entire life.
Me neither.
All right.